Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Monkey Bubble Reflash. We have an exciting game for you today in the winners semifinals. And I am going to be your play-by-play caster for tonight, Bard, and I am joined by Vincent. How are you doing, Vincent?
Man, I'm doing good. I am excited to get into the open division action. We're down to just a couple of teams left. I mean, it always starts at a very wide bracket, right? But now things are heating up, right? It feels good, and honestly, it should be a spicy matchup. Sigma No Hands and Edgegamers. Sigma No Hands, by the way, great name. I know we were talking about it before we went live, but it is actually just an amazing name. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, should be really fun here. And going up against Signal Hands is Edge Gamers, who have some pretty noticeable talent on their roster. Going to be interesting to see how both of these teams match up. Sigma No Hands has had a pretty good run of this tournament so far, but Edge Gamers, we were talking about this before as well. They've got some names we should be familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, you might recognize Dusk and Vega. Dusk maybe not so much because they're not playing on that account. They're going to be playing under the name QWQ. But those two players are both from Anteku, and they are the support line from Anteku who lost in trials. You might remember from last season. But though to be fair, had a lot of great runs. They were second in their group in trials, so they just barely lost out in the last season of trials. So definitely something that is you should look out for, as well as CJ, who is also not going to be playing under CJ's under the name Advice, but is the same player from Attack Mode that played for Attack Mode in Open Division Season 5 of 2020. So that's the last season of OD from last season, and then also played for Marky's Bagel Shop in the Trial of Champions. That was Thunder Monkey, sorry, who did that. And I'm going to make the assumption that that player is Anduari, unless that's just a sub. So we'll take it. You know, it could be, could not be. Either way, I think that we have a pretty stacked roster for the Edge Gamer side, but. I don't want to sleep on Sigma No Hands, right? Might not have any hands, but certainly has been destroying teams throughout this open division bracket thus far. Particularly names that I recognize is number one Soko, who played with Noble last season in Contenders. So definitely a player to look out for, as well as the support line of Mark as well. Actually, I don't even see Mark, to be fair, but the support line that I know they have is Mark and Cabamus were both playing for Majestados. My apologies. In the second season, and they placed second in the South American Gauntlet, and then won South American Contender Season 2. Though granted, we have some different names in here, so I don't actually know. Only Mark is here, so maybe not so much. I think Atlas might be playing the support with Mark, who is maybe a less known player. Either way, I think it's going to come down to the support lines, is what I'm getting at.
Oh, well, yeah, we've been seeing a lot of Zenyatta in play recently, and we've been seeing a lot of this rush comp, which is very dependent on your support line keeping those tanks up, getting that speed off at the right time. So support's gonna be really valuable here, but also we've seen a lot of mix up in the tank gameplay recently. A lot of changes coming into a lot of tanks. We've been moving slightly away from a ball meta, moving a bit more towards rush, seeing some brawl, seeing some like half dive with double bubble. What do you expect us to be seeing here from these two teams as they move into control, which will be our first map type?
Yeah, and Ilios, the specific map that we will be going to on Control. I do think we're probably going to be seeing some dive. There's just no way around it on these maps. That being said, the style of dive very much up in the air. I haven't gotten the opportunity to watch either of these teams thus far in their bracket runs, so for that reason, it's going to be a bit of a question mark for me, and I think that makes it all the more interesting. At times, you can definitely have an opportunity to see things that you wouldn't necessarily expect. But double bubble, very much popular at the moment, as well as listen, the ball. You're always maybe going to see a little bit of ball here and there, and to be fair, a very strong character. So not all that surprising.
Very strong. Some might say too strong.
Yeah,
But yeah,
some might.
I would be some. We're gonna jump into the first map on Ilios, which is going to be Lighthouse. This is an interesting map for sure because you can kind of run a little bit of everything. on this map and get away with it. We don't know quite what they are running. We're going to see right now. Looking like Ryan.
Ooh, rush comps. I was going to mention, as soon as you said that, Bard, I kind of think we might just see rush comps here, and indeed we do. Though Icarus is currently hovering over that Pharah, which I find quite spicy. This is definitely not something you see all the time, but considering what the opponents are running, I mean, it could be okay. Sigma No Hands pulling out something interesting here in the early days, but no, Icarus going to swap over to the McCree. No fun for me, apparently, Bard. I'll just go back to being quiet.
Yeah, we are going to start off this first fight. It's going to be the old-fashioned Mei rush, and here the Reinhardts are going to meet in the cage, fighting it out. Redemption just trying to walk in onto Joshua, who's going to get flashbanged immediately by Icarus. The wall is going to keep him up from Doomed, who is just doing a great job of staying next to his Rein, not letting Redemption swing too much. But here is the pressure coming out so heavily from Sigma No Hands, and that is going to be the initial DMEC on to QWQ, but they are going to trade out the Immortality Field to take that DMEC. Both Immortality Fields out now as the fight is going to be on the point, but Sigma No Hands, they've walked in and they have set themselves up on this objective point. The window already coming out for them, but that's a big shatter, taking the D.Va down as they walk through, but Bob is going to trade out, take Joshua down with that headshot, the Lucio, and the cap has already come through. So now Edgegamers, they're really just trying to take the point back, but Icarus and Redemption are going to make sure that that is not going to happen, and now Advice just trying to hold on, maybe find a pick here before walking to go off the map.
Well, I didn't even make it there, and I mean, that was so fast. The pace of play for both of these two teams with this rush composition is incredible. You do love to see that, and now getting some high ground is an intelligent play for the Sigma No Hand side. They got the first cap, and now at about 33%. You know, walking in here, you already used your Earth Shatter. Joshua is in a bit of a tough spot.
Yeah, now he's got to be really careful as the fight comes in. The window coming out there in a very interesting angle. The flash comes out, but it does not catch Redemption, but Doomed does on the Mei. Also going to force out that Immortality Field with the High Noon and drop it. And Dwari taking down Mark as well. And that's some very good pressure coming out here from Edgegamers as they continue to trade out. Atlas, though, is going to take the fight here, take down Joshua, and there's the beat to keep him up as Doomed and Atlas both commit this Blizzard, and the freeze is just going to be better here, but two boops, one from each Lucio as they take the fight here, and now Icarus just dueling with Andori, but Sigma No Hands, they have not been taken out of this fight yet, and Advice is just going to take a dip, and that is the end of that fight.
I'm going to keep it real. I was thinking, you know, Bob utilizing that sound barrier was a little bit of a mistake, but it was clear that they had it under control. And so with that, I mean, it's huge. 83%. Now you saw all of the ultimates being used by the attackers of Edgegamers. Now they've got really nothing.
Oh, and they were looking for the flash shatter, but they messed up the timing by just a second, and Joshua able to block that. The bomb coming out as well from Soko to try and just destroy them all in that fight because the Immortality had come out, but it's not going to take it down. Mark is going to trade it out, though. Bob taken down by Andwari before Joshua goes down, and now the High Noon committed from Andwari. Vega going to go into the backline, take out Mark. That Baptiste being out is so huge. Andwari, he gets the flashbang on Icarus while he's looking for the Deadeye value, and it's just not going to be there, but Soko and Atlas turn this around with a pick on the opposing Mei and the opposing Baptiste, as now QWQ is going to get taken down, and Dwari once again taking out Redemption, doing a great job zoning out these tanks here, but now Joshua, he has to fight, he has to touch the objective point. There's the shatter. Bob is going to go down onto the ground and down into the spawn room, and so is Atlas, and this might just be turned around for Edgegamers, but Joshua, no, he walks off the point, and that is going to be a Charlie Niner.
Oh no, that is a real Charlie Niner. He had it, he wasn't pushed out. That's so frustrating. You really hate to see that in the opening stage of this best of 5 series. And man, I mean, you just got to be kicking yourself if you're Joshua there. It's just a small mistake, but it matters so much. And I will say that I mentioned Soko, you know, playing previously for Noble in Contenders. It is very clear that Soko is a star player right here on that off-tank role. Absolutely doing incredible work. It seemed like almost like 2v4ing a couple of times there, like, you know, with the respawns it wasn't quite that extreme, but still incredible stuff, as we don't really see a whole lot of adjustments coming through for either side.
Yeah, and they're both going to take this fight once again early on in this cage area. You want to take control of this. A lot of natural cover for you as they walk in, and the walls are going to be big. A lot more damage available here for for Edgegamers then for Sigma No Hands, and that's 2 picks already. 3 picks if you count the DMAC, as Atlas goes down and so does Redemption. And Edgegamers, they're going to take this fight much faster.
Well, and that fight was won off the back of Doomed. Incredible wall. Put up, just destroys Redemption, has no chance of getting out, even though it was an attempt right from the opposing May have Atlas to try and push forward. So now in a pretty solid position, approaching that Earth Shatter. Once again, it's Jishua.
Yeah, now he's just going to be walking in on Redemption, and there's the Shatter. He gets 3. It's huge as they all go down, drop to the ground, and sent back to the spawn room, and the fight's already done.
I will say I could make an argument that was not necessary, considering the once more incredible wall from Doomed to shut down Redemption and cut them off from the rest of the team. That being said, it did quickly dispatch the fight, made things look a little bit easier, and so now you're walking in and you still have basically no ultimates for Sigma No Hands. They've got to do it dry at this point, or do it with the ults they get in mid-fight.
Yeah, and those mid-fight ults could be huge. There's the wall just to slow down this pressure here as the window comes out from Advice. A really good ultimate just to keep them zoned out as they push. There's the wall. The Deadeye is going to come out from Icarus here, just trying to hold position on the point. But Vega, he gets the boop! And Atlas and Redemption both fall into the well. Doomed trades out as well, taking down Icarus. And it's already turned back around in the favor of Edgegamers. Sigma No Hands into the pit.
How did Vega not get credit for that second boop? That was definitely a double boop. I'm not quite sure why it didn't count as a double boop. But yeah, investment was there, right? You used the Earth Shatter. You used the Deadeye. There's really like not a whole lot coming up online. You're going to have to do something with this self-destruct. But this point is so difficult to try and do anything with. And you're coming up against a lot of ults in that ult bank for the opponents.
Oh, and Soko just trying to be cheeky, looking to eat up those ultimates as they're used. He does! He gets Doom's Blizzard, and that's going to be huge as they try and contest here. That Blizzard won't zone them out, and they can just push, play around these angles. A good wall as both tanks are now cut off for the side of Sigma No Hands, but there's the Blizzard, there's the bomb, there's the Shatter. Both immortalities forced out early on, and Sigma No Hands, they've somehow managed to turn this around, but Vega gets a boop pick onto Bob of all people, and Redemption goes down to Andwari. Advice trading out Icarus, and this is suddenly not looking good for Edgegamers, especially as Atlas, after committing the Blizzard, gets taken down, and they have to just try and contest here. That's all it's going to take, because this is going to tick into overtime, and they are going to try and push the objective point. It's going to be Bob trying to get on. There's the immortality field. They do manage to touch, but now the Deadeye is out, and Bob is not going to survive on the point for very long. Redemption just trying to get back to touch, but someone else is already contesting the objective point for Sigma No Hands. It's going to be the Tracer for Icarus, who just gets taken down immediately, and Andwari is just poking at the enemy team from range to shut this round out.
I mean, that was just a great job. Overall, Edgegamers, they didn't really ever look as if they were moving backwards. It was always a re-engagement. The positioning that they were utilizing there inside of that room, it forced a very difficult rotation for Sigma No Hands, right? Like, where do you rotate through? So there's 2 options. You either rotate around the pit, or you rotate up top and then drop down. Either way, it gives ample opportunity for Doom to get May walls that are very effective, and was doing just that, by the way. Really outplaying, I feel, Atlas in general in this second stage. And then from there, you really have to just ask the question, like, who has the better sustain? And this time, Advice winning out against Mark. Something we didn't necessarily see happening in stage number 1, as we now move to our third and final stage. This is an adjustment. Soko now onto the Zarya, trying to get additional damage out, Bard.
Yeah, and it's like in that first round, they just want these fights to go longer here. They want those longer fights where they can build the charge, get that extra value from the damage, and Andwari, he doesn't want to let that happen, already forcing the immortality and taking it out of play. Vega here just holding around their team. They're just going to keep poking, because that's exactly what Edgegamers don't want to do, actually, with this D.Va. They want to dive in, they want to go fast, and Soko, he's just getting poked down to no HP, but so high charged as he pushes in, takes Andwari low as they try and walk now with that extra charge. The healing coming out. It is going to be Doom dropping low. They force the immortality field out from Edgegamers, though, and Andwari trades out Icarus. Advice forcing out the other immortality field from Mark and then taking him down now. The Windows dueling Baptiste ultimates here on the objective point. QWQ getting dropped low, but it's not gonna die here or get demeched, as the point does go in the favor of Edgegamers. And once again, Sigma No Hands just playing slow for this. They want it. Oh, the Shatter's big. He gets 2 onto the ground, and one of them is the Lucio, and Dwari's gonna follow up on that as the Zarya bubble's not gonna be there to help them out, and that is gonna be the end of that fight in favor of Edgegamers.
I mean, a humongously back and forth fight, right? You have so many options, so many opportunities to do something there, but ultimately it was that Earth Shatter and Dwari with massive shots onto McCree, picking things up. And you walk in now, you gotta stop getting the Immortality Field Force so early from Mark. I understand that he's just saving his team, but it's just been consistently forced out early.
Icarus with a huge pick early on takes Doomed out, but Redemption's going to whiff the Shatter. There's the Zarya Graviton Surge to keep his team in there, and Ndwari is going to trade out Soko. And now QWQ with the bomb takes down Redemption. Atlas walks in, takes down Vega, and it's going to be back and forth here. And Ndwari trading on to Atlas, and the Blizzard is going to come out for the side of Sigma No Hands, and this might just be what they needed, as Atlas's Blizzard gets 2 picks on its own with the tickle damage there. Doomed is just going to continue to contest as QWQ gets demeched, and it's just not going to last here. Oh, but it is, because Vega comes back for the extra stall, and now it's 1-fight territory.
Yeah, and a really great example of where one ultimate can certainly turn the tide impressively. It was down low, both teams not really at full strength, so Atlas utilizing that Blizzard in perfectly placed fashion. But now the problem here, look at the ults. There's just so many available. Doomed has the Blizzard, Jeshua has the Earth Shatter, and there's very little on the other side to contend with, and already one of those that coming out.
Oh, yeah, and he's got to be a little more careful, though, because Soko has made the swap. The Immortality forced out, but he gets frozen. Joshua here really just looking to find either a Shatter or a follow-up to that Blizzard, and there's the Shatter! He does take down Redemption, who immediately drops to Doomed with the damage. Soko, though, getting the poke, taking out Vega, but it's not going to matter, because all of the picks here are going in the favor of Edgegamers. Atlas, though, trading out Joshua, and maybe they have a chance to stall this out, but no, it is not going to happen, and Edgegamers, they just need to win one quick fight here.
I mean, maybe not even really a full fight, considering the fact that they're just going to be able to get in with 3 or 4 players left.
Oh, and with the window being committed early from Advice, that damage is going to be so tough. Oh, Redemption, he gets the Shatter, he drops Joshua to the floor, but just gets taken down by Vega, the DPS Lucio here, and they aren't going to be able to touch. Edgegamers are going to take map 1.
I'm going to keep it real with you, Barden. I think that was the Advice diff right there. Advice was playing out of their mind on the support for Edgegamers. I just honestly, I said I thought it was going to be up to the see what I told you, it was double. Never mind. Whatever. It was. I think that regardless, it was going to be up to supports, but Advice really stepped up big time in that one. On the Baptiste, we saw consistently Mark getting the Immortality forced out early. And we can see it in the cards as well. I know those aren't necessarily on screen, but it was 17,000 healing done for Mark, but 75% defensive kill participation for Advice. And so where I think that matters a whole lot is that we saw Advice having more individual impact and contributing to the overall damage numbers, and especially off the back of the amplification matrices, they consistently got bigger value. And so for me, I thought it was actually both the supports. Number one, it was Vega in the second map on the well, getting big boosts. We saw it in that play of the game, but it was more than that. It was multiple times throughout, consistently just creating the speed, the pace of play to allow for Doom to get those May walls off and catch the Reinhardt out on the other side. But yeah, just huge step up here from the support line.
Yeah, absolutely. And an interesting comp variation coming out there on that last map. I'm not opposed to the Zarya coming out there from Soko, because in those long fights, you really do get a big advantage from having that high charge and then extra damage. But I think just Edgegamers were playing too quickly. They knew when to engage, and they just took really fast, decisive fights. And it forced Soko to swap back to that Diva, which I think especially once you start getting lapped on the alt advantage, when you kind of have to regain that tempo of using DM instead of bubbles, when you lose a lot of that damage that you're expecting going into the engagements with the Zarya, it can really make a big difference here for Sigma No Hands, and it really just stopped them from ever getting a foothold back in that third point.
Well, and I'll keep it real. You know, I think that part of the reason that you might want to take a Zarya over a Diva in one of these competitions is the fact that the ultimate is so much better. The Graviton Surge is significantly better. You can get significantly more value consistently out of it than you can the self destruct. The problem is that Soko didn't do that. I didn't feel like there was a ton of value getting that was being gotten out of the Graviton Surge on that last map. Granted, a very small, size for what we saw. There's not a lot of gameplay there, but for that amount, I just didn't see enough. And so for that reason, I thought Soko had incredible value on the Diva, and I would just let Soko play the Diva. I do, like you said, understand what the thought process. I think it's intelligent. I just don't think it worked. And sometimes it was things that make sense on paper just don't work in principle. And this might be one of those times. I actually don't know. And on a different map entirely, I think that could change where you have more sight lines to play around. There in the open, you kind of are at the whim of how aggressive the opponent wants to be because there's really nowhere to just back fully away if they speed boost forward and get in front of you. So it's all very complex, but my point is that Soko just didn't get quite enough out of that swap for it to be a good swap, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And look, I might be a little biased because I am a DPS player, but I
Oh,
like looking at both of these DPS lineups here too. I think they're really
yeah.
good and really interesting to watch. And I've got to say, I'm really impressed with Icarus and Ndwari on the McCree matchups. Both of them finding big picks. Uh, Deadeye is an alt that's really hard to get value out of, but both of them are really using it to bait the opponents into spots that are more favorable for them. They're using it just to zone, which, let's be real, Deadeye is a zoning ultimate. And then you look at Doomed going up against uh, the opposing May, and I'm sorry, the May alts, as much as people may not like playing against May alts are fun to watch and they're fun to play with and they're fun to see who can get value out of. And it's even more fun to watch Diva players like Soko and QWQ eat those May alts. And
Yeah.
that's the matchup I want to see. It's just May versus Diva. It's going to be a slugfest if these comps continue to be played. And it's just that's exactly the value that you get out of Diva that I want to see from both of them.
Well, there was. It's funny you mentioned that. I think it was Doomed who definitely had a zoning male right there at the very end. And I mean, listen, it actually did get value because it kind of split off the defensive hold that Sigma No Hands had. It also made things a little bit more difficult. They had to fall back, and so there was picks off the back of it. So I'm not by any means saying it was bad, but it got nobody at all. It was definitely a zoning ult, and it just forced it back onto the point. So sometimes it isn't necessarily about the direct kills gained from where you see it in the kill feed, right? But it's about the way, just like with the Deadeye, the way that you place that to deny area from your opponents, and so it's oftentimes as important with regard to the area your opponents can't be as where they can be. As weird as a concept as that sounds, it kind of feels ethereal. But the reality is, if they can't be there, then you can be there. Easy.
Yeah, exactly. I will say though, I'm not entirely sure we're going to be seeing those May McCree comps, at least on this next map, because we are going to be jumping into Escort, and it is going to be Junkertown. And on J Town, you see a lot of the Widowmaker, you see Double Shield. You used to see a lot of Pirate Chip. I don't think we'll see it as much anymore, but it's going to be real interesting to see what comps they pull out here.
And we have a real time switch coming in. Yeah, I think you're right. It is going to be interesting. But finally, that support line that I was talking about, Cabimus coming in, the player that I was bigging up before the match. I was so very sad not to see them in, but is here coming in, hailing from the South American region to honestly destroy in the contenders over there, first place, both Cabimus and Mark. So this is where things get spicy, Bart. we are getting to a point now where I did very much give the support over to the side of Edge Gamers. That support line, I think, won out. This time, though, Sigma No Hands, they've got their A team in for this one.
Yeah, for sure. And nothing against Bob, who was in on the Lucio for the last map, but Cabimas is going to come in here and just bring a real difference, a real tempo change, I think, for the side of Sigma No Hands if they are going to be running those Lucio comps. And if they're running Mercy, which we are seeing out of them now, or Moira. I'm not going to try and guess what Kevin Moss is going to run, but we are seeing the May still.
We should just leave that alone. That's how we look like fools, no matter what we do. is guessing what the attackers are going to play before they walk out the door. All that being said, we do know the defense is set up here, and it's I mean, pretty consistent at the very least. We are seeing the May, which, like you mentioned, is interesting, but not all that strange considering the composition behind it, as well as the fact that we are seeing the Sigma and the Reinhardt. So two very close range, want to get up close and personal kind of tank characters, and I think that's going to be it. That's like the first time I've ever seen a Reinhardt on this map in like this level of play, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Bard.
Yeah, well, they've already completed the spawn door challenge here, and Dwari taking Icarus out of the sky immediately, and now Kabimas does not have anyone to pocket anymore, and they're just getting poked out. Redemption taking down Joshua as well. That is going to trade it back out, and honestly, it's going to put it back in the favor of Sigma No Hands. However, the poke damage coming out from this May comp with the Sigma is still incredible, and there's the freeze onto the Diva, not able to DMX Soko as Icarus is going to take down Advice, and suddenly Sigma No Hands, they didn't look super prepared for it immediately, but now they've swapped over, they're running this Tracer, and they look like they've definitely got it under control. As I say that, though, and Dwari gets a pick and then is traded out, Soko takes down QWQ, and Vega just going to contest this objective point with the May and the Reinhardt. The wall trying to split them off, but Icarus with a big double kill and Atlas to clean it up. That is going to go in the favor of Sigma No Hands.
Yeah, but listen, that's a minute tagged off of this point, you know, about 3 minutes left. As long as they're able to get to this this corner right here on the left of Soko, that's going to be the key. If they're able to make it there in time, then realistically, that is worth it, I think. Especially since they built up Vega's sound barrier already. They can use that aggressively. Cabimas has swapped to that Lucio, so it's far behind.
Yeah, and Dwari already with a big pick onto Icarus, who got so much value in the last fight on that Tracer. The window's going to come out, and the Baptiste ult's going to be used in the backline, forcing the Immortality field for Sigma No Hands as the damage goes in here. Atlas still just poking, but Dwari with another big pick, a huge shatter, forcing the Immo out as Redemption. He does get flashbang, so he can't follow it up enough, gets taken out by Vega, who's just doing a great job zoning him away. The beat's going to be used as the bomb comes out, but it's not going to save Joshua. It is going to be an even trade here, as Dwari, though, is going to take out Icarus, and the freeze, the wall from Atlas just trying to stay alive, but Dwari with a big triple kill here is going to clean this fight up for Edgegamers.
I mean, just everybody playing incredibly well right now for Edgegamers. I mean, and Dwari, gosh, what an absolute monster on the McCree, consistently getting not only damage, but frags over the course of that. And, I mean, in general, I felt Redemption's been very good on this Reinhardt, but Joshua has not been getting outplayed entirely. It's just a matter of a different style at the moment. Everything kind of falls on Redemption's shoulders to get that big shatter. And Joshua can just let the rest of their team play off of them. So now they have an ult advantage coming in here, and they just have to fall back and then use those ults.
Oh yeah, now Joshua, he is just going to be looking for this shatter here as they walk in, playing this corner so well on the Reinhardt, as Dwari already used a Deadeye to zone them out, and now here's the walk, there's the shatter, he gets 3, but the wall comes out, the beat force though, and the Blizzard coming out here for Doomed, who is going to get some value. However, Advice, he throws the window up and helps take down Redemption as Joshua is going to stay alive, and there's the trade as well. Kabimas going out, Icarus takes down QWQ, but it's too late as Dwari takes him down, and this fight has already gone in the way of Edgegamers.
Yeah, but they had to use everything, pretty much. There was all but the sound barrier utilized there for Edgegamers. Coming back in, they're going to have to try and figure something out. If Atlas places this Blizzard in key position and catches at least 1 or 2 of these players, that could be devastating.
Oh, absolutely. And now the fight coming out, an early wall from Doomed. And now Atlas just going to try and get the Blizzard out, let it get eaten. He's just going to walk in and freeze Joshua. That's so unfortunate. We've all been there. But Andwari, he gets the Deadeye pick on a Kabimas, and QWQ and Atlas traded out as well. Soko taking down Advice, but it's way too late. Andwari with the heroic Deadeye kill there, not letting them have that extra healing or the speed to engage. However, somehow Sigma No Hands have turned this around. QWQ taking down Redemption, but the bomb is going to come out from Soko, who gets taken out before he can remech by Doom. The huge pick, and it's OT, and it does not look like Sigma No Hands are going to be able to continue to touch here. Kabimas going to keep going for the fight, but they're just booped so far away, and now Kabimas just has to keep touching, but he's going to get taken down. Icarus too, and it's only the stall comp now for the side of Sigma No Hands, as Andwari and Advice are just going to continue to run wild. A first point hold.
I mean, that was incredible. I don't even know. I'm going to be honest, Bart. I'm not even 100% sure how they turned it around, because on paper, it looked as if it should have worked. We saw the freeze, the wall came out from the side of Sigma No Hands, right? And that gave enough time for Redemption to pull up that Earth Shatter. Big Earth Shatter, 3 players down. The Mail comes out in return and freezes a majority of the players. The only thing available was that sound barrier, and it was just enough, I guess, put in place at the correct time in order to force the rest of the attackers back. And Sigma No Hands, they were in a tough spot that then they couldn't convert. We saw Advice pick up another one of those really well placed, honestly, fields. Like, so key, right? The immortalities that we've been seeing from Advice. But I don't know. It's just been very impressive. They pull it out where it looked as if they had not really gotten to a position that they should have had even an opportunity to win that one out.
Yeah, now we're having some very interesting compositions coming out here. Okay, QWQ baited me. I was like, we're going to see the Orisa Ryan. It's going to be interesting. Nope. We are going to see the Spawn Door Challenge still, though, coming out here for the side of Sigma No Hands, but it's just completely walked around as they go out the right side door. And Edgegamers, they put themselves in a really good position to just poke into this comp and win this first fight without losing anyone in the spawn doors. They saw it coming, they read it really well, and now they're taking the fight here. Redemption, he's losing so much shield so quickly. The immortality already forced down, and Dwari takes it down. That's so much utility already taken down, as Dwari is also going to take down Redemption, and they just walk on Atlas. Joshua swinging that hammer, taking the damage, taking down 2, and he's going to look for the second support as well. Joshua with a clean 4K.
Well, notice this is about half the time that we saw Edgegamers take off the clock from Sigma No Hands, and it's showing already. Earth Shatter in hand for Joshua, as well as Advice has another Ant Matrix. I mean, that's just brutal stuff. That's been a key. These Ant Matrixes have kind of won fights, honestly, consistently for Edgegamers.
Yeah, Advice, he's just been playing so well, and there it is. They're going to put the wall up to try and stop it. Joshua counter-charging to take Redemption onto the ground, and there's going to be the high noon. He takes down Doomed and DMX QWQ. That's actually huge, forcing the beat here for the side of Edgegamers, and the Shatter's big for Joshua. They are going to be able to get 2 to trade back with the Deadeye from Andwari, but Icarus here, he's still up. He still has the support from his team, and it's probably going to be enough to keep them alive here, as Advice is just going to try and help Andwari take him down, forced to use the self-heal, but Icarus takes him out of the fight. Vega taking down Soko, though, and this fight is suddenly very even, but a big shatter from Redemption, and that's 2 picks. This is going to be very hard for Edgegamers to come back into this fight, but they have the time.
I like that Edgegamers just got out of there right there. It was looking as if you could have continued to invest, but you don't want to give too much ult charge away. And that's a big key, right? You don't want to give too much of anything away, especially now knowing that you're going to be walking in with a little bit of a disadvantage into this fight. And that said, QWQ could find something big with the self-destruct, but that's really the only option.
Yeah, here it comes. Soko with the self-destruct. He catches 2, and Dwari and Vega go down. Atlas in the backline finds another double, and it looks like he wants the triple as he takes down Doomed, and now QWQ wondering what happened to his team.
Yeah, and I mean that's just kind of what I expected, considering the ult advantage of Soko with that huge self-destruct, not something you typically see every day. I will say that Doomed invested the Blizzard there. It did force force Kabamas to use the sound barrier, but I would have preferred that to be held onto. And now this could be key. The pulse bomb in the back line. Oh no.
Oh, and Andwari, he's just looking for the fight here, wants to force out the flashbang. Andwari's just going to smartly avoid him, and now, oh, Icarus catches him with the Deadeye instead of the Pulse Bomb. QWQ trades out onto Redemption, and Doomed takes out Atlas with a well-placed Icicle. The Tracer not there to contest or get that damage as Jishua takes down Kabimas, and it's just going to be the damage. QWQ, they're going to win! Edgegamers are going to win off of a huge beat at the end of that fight.
I mean, I would disagree. It was more about the. I mean, the Ant Matrix is so incredible from Advice. Like, yes, it's a team effort, but let me just break it down while we watch this play of the game. Basically, the Ant Matrix came through. Ford goes doomed in order to freeze up the Reinhardt. The Reinhardt dies off the back of that. Everyone else falls because there's no Reinhardt shield in the way of that Ant Matrix. And I mean, it's just incredible. Advice is playing out of their mind right now. I'm so impressed with the support line right now of Edgegamers. It was, I mean, incredible stuff. And I've been talking up Cabimas here, but not quite there. Not quite to the level of what Vega was putting on display, despite what I think was in general not a bad performance.
Yeah, definitely not a bad performance from him. He is coming in map 2.
Yeah.
Advice and Vega, they've had the time to be warm, making sure that they're playing, having that synergy with their team after a pretty close map 1, and it's just definitely going in the favor of Edgegamers. I think because of that synergy that they were able to just continue to build, making sure everyone was warm on the same page during that map 1. Kabimas coming in, looking really good on the Mercy and on the Lucio, but just he's a game down in terms of being warm against these very high level players.
Yeah, I mean, and well, let's maybe give some opportunity for Cabermas to have some time, bet in a little bit, give them a few minutes, right? We're going to take a few minutes as well here on the broadcast. That way we can get everything working just fine for map number 3. And we'll be bringing that to you soon, right after this break.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Monkey Bubble Reflash. This is Edgegamers versus Sigma No Hands, and we are headed into map 3, which is going to be Hybrid Kings Row. Vincent, what are we going to see on this map?
Well, I mean, I think number one, we have to communicate and understand this is Edge Gamers up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah.
They have the advantage. This could be the last map that we see in this series if it is Edge Gamers all the way. That being said, Sigma No Hands has definitely been in these maps. That being said, the last map on Escort, very one-sided as we watch a floating book. That is a little terrifying. But nonetheless, I think that you know we're gonna most likely see more of this brawly Ryan style. There's just no way we're not. It's come on, it's Kings Row, Scrims Row. Everything that you see on Kings Row is almost always brawl. That being said, an interesting swap up right now. We're seeing potentially Soko staying with the Zarya. Though granted that is on the attack and could change, so I'll leave that alone. But it is much the same. And in all fairness, Bard, I wouldn't be changing anything if I was Edge Gamers either. This has worked very well for you the entirety of the time, and like I feel like I've been kind of a broken record at this point, but Vega and Advice have been playing incredibly this series, and Duari as well, just, playing well, but for me, it has been those three that have really been the difference makers, as it looks like we are seeing that Ryan Zarya, not Ryan Diva, on the attack here for Sigma No Hands.
Yeah, they might think it's a damage issue. Maybe they just want that extra pressure as they walk in. And here it is, the first fight around the statue. The wall coming out, both walls coming out. Going to be a bit of a slow play here, but Soko already making up for that damage with Icarus, Vega, and Ndwari going down for Edge Gamers. And this is a big early fight here. Already full charged on the Zarya just walking in. There's going to be no shield to save you there. The immortality field forced out, but I don't think many of them are going to survive for long. They are going to play around this choke, though, to be safe.
Well, and if they play it right, they can come back in and re-engage. The Diva looking up on top to do just that, but no, not going to happen, even though the recontest could have been there. And we move forward. This is a great start. Just high pace. That's it. Coming through from Sigma No Hands. If they continue this, they certainly could be giving themselves a great opportunity to win out on this map.
Yeah, absolutely, but they do have to make it through this Kings Row choke with that objective point. There's the wall coming out. There's the window coming out for Advice. Really big window, forcing the immortality early, and a lot of damage there. The counter window is going to come out now for Mark, but QWQ gonna take down Soka. Redemption taking out Vega, but with the Blizzard coming out, I don't think that Sigma No Hands are going to be able to stay on this objective point for long.
Poor Redemption just threw that shatter straight into a shield. I thought, maybe was expecting something to come in, maybe a flashbang. Nonetheless, it didn't hit. And we are back to a starting position. Soko, though, has this Graviton Surge. That's going to be a potential fight winner.
Oh, the shatter, but it only catches one, and the immortality field was already out. But Vega and Ndwari, they will go with a follow-up, and Joshua, he's going to charge. He's going to hit shift. ABC, always be charging to win the fight.
So the problem with, using a Graviton Surge to win fights is that if you die, you can't press Q. And Soko died early, couldn't press the Q button, and probably for the best, considering that was very one-sided. Still, a couple of ults online here for the defense. Edge Gamers, that's not as impactful. So, well, I say that. Advice has been incredible with these at matrices, so maybe I should stop talking about that. Though, Soka, should be the fight victory for Sigma No Hands, barring something crazy.
Ooh,
like that.
But there's the wall, and such a good... Oh, Joshua, he gets two before the bomb comes out from QWQ, and the grab is just not going to get any value because of those early picks. Vega taking down Atlas, and that's a decisive fight win for Edge Gamers.
I mean, yeah, I said barring anything crazy. We saw it immediately. Doomed. Great wall. Absolutely impressive getting that wall off, splitting up the team, and then, of course, Advice, another great Amp Matrix, getting big value off the back of that. Something that, you typically see the timing of the Amp Matrix so poor for a lot of Batiste players, but Advice has just been hitting the timing perfectly every single time. Now, though, I mean, is this the time? This should be the time for Sigma No Hands.
It absolutely should be Advice playing those rhythm games. He's got the timing down, and now they're going to try and walk in. They don't want to get caught by those walls again, so they're going to go around. They tried to bait the wall and window, but it didn't work. So now they just have to be very careful about the wall coming out from Doomed here, and they're just going to keep trying to bait it. I like this pokey play as Atlas's wall is going to come out. Oh, but there's the Deadeye. Is he going to catch anything? He does. He gets two. Dwari gets Redemption and Icarus, and the Shatter coming out from Joshua to clean it up, as Dwari gets a triple.
I mean, even with the Soko swap onto the D.Va, like, I just don't know what you do. It seems as if every time we see an advantage there for Sigma No Hands, it just deteriorates immediately. Edgegamers taking advantage of a situation that I didn't even think realistically existed. And so now they have another ult. What?
Oh, and it doesn't get eaten. How? That Blizzard was max range and there's no eat. Joshua and Doomed are going to follow up on Doom's Blizzard there, getting a ton of value. And without a Baptiste or a Reinhardt, you really are just going to get picked off walking back to spawn.
Yeah, I mean, this is just how to play Overwatch 101. If you want to watch a VOD, this is how you play aggressively. Every single time we see Edgegamers, they get aggressive. The team that's the most aggressive wins the game, Bard. I say it over and over again. And right now, Edgegamers, they W key so fast.
Ooh, Icarus with a big first pick onto Vega, but Dwari trades it out with two, taking down Kabimas and Redemption. QWQ taking out that Immortality Field as Icarus walks in, and the window there just not going to get any value as they're forced to try and survive in this back corner here. They're going to keep taking the fight, I think, which is very interesting coming out here. They must like the picks that they got, especially knowing that Vega isn't there, they can't run, and they're going to just force back Edgegamers all the way back to that last corner.
I mean, the problem is that you aren't really going to get a lot of push of this card. Yes, you got 6 players on right now, but you see everybody's back for Edgegamers. They're moving forward. They're ready to go once more.
Yeah, and Joshua here, he's looking for that Shatter. He's maybe waiting for the flashbang, I can't tell. Or maybe just looking to find someone to punish, as it is the D.Va who keeps peeking into him of Soko. The Blizzard gets eaten by QWQ. That's massive as the bomb goes in too, taking down the Immortality Field as Joshua just walks in, hammer swinging, taking out Kabimas, and Advice and Doomed are going to follow it up with picks of their own. A quick fight for Edgegamers.
I mean, QWQ, man, what a great play. You eat the Blizzard, right? And then you force out the Immortality and destroy it with your self-destruct. That allows for everyone else to just walk forward and destroy the entire team. And now Advice has another Amp Matrix, so you can probably guess that this is going to be a fight win.
Oh, and the Deadeye just gets blocked by a Maywall right in the face of Icarus. That's not what you want to see when you're trying to break some shields walking in there. Force some space, and this fight already just done. They have to take the slow engage. Another wall to block an ultimate. What is Doomed doing? He doesn't want them to get any value out of any of these, as the window's just gonna be forced down, and they've got the beat to trade out. Both Immortality Fields used. The beat does come out from Vega, and there's a huge Shatter from Joshua into the Blizzard, and they're gonna get value here as Atlas and Redemption and Mark are gonna be taken down here, and Dwari just forcing that last ultimate, and it's just Icarus alive. He can't touch the objective point.
This style, it's all in. It's aggressive. It's fast. It's incredible. I just love watching it. Edgegamers, they seem to never not have an answer, right? Like Sigma No Hands walks in with like 3 ults at an advantage. They have the better ultimates in general in the situation. It's fine. It's fine. We have the tools, says Edgegamers. They aren't even worried about it. You know, Vega doesn't quite have a sound barrier online yet, sure. You know, Advice only has the Amp Matrix available. Nothing else really. No other large scale ultimates. It's fine. They still win that out. Every single time. It's just, it is really down to the speed with which we're seeing Edgegamers make decisions. It's just not there for Sigma No Hands. Every single time Sigma No Hands decides something, it's just half a second slower than Edgegamers. And that is the difference between a team that's rolling and a team that is not quite able to stay within the fighting distance, not able to catch up, not able to get quite there.
Yeah, that's definitely a big difference here. And the speed and tempo in which they're using all of their utility. Doom's walls are just going up instantly when they're needed. And Dwari with the stuns exactly when they're needed. QWQ with that DM has just been taking everything away from Sigma No Hands.
Well, and Joshua and QWQ, I haven't given a lot of love because they're just doing their jobs. They're doing their jobs and they're doing them well, but they don't need to do anything else because the rest of the team is playing incredibly around.
Exactly, and there's the wall. Both tanks cut off. Doomed once again, just getting the value. QWQ is going to pressure down Atlas as the Immortality Field already forced from both teams, but it's going to get way more value for Edgegamers as Advice takes down Redemption, and now Atlas, he's stuck behind this wall. He's got nowhere to go. Joshua takes him down, and this objective point already immediately going in the favor of Edgegamers.
Oh, this is why I remember how much I love Overwatch, Bard. I mean, it's just so brilliant to watch Edgegamers play this at the moment. Now Advice has that Matrix, dare I say. Oh my goodness. This could be the fight winner as that Maywall goes out. There's no Maywall to deny this one from Advice.
Yeah, and there it is from Advice, getting that value. The shield breaks so heavy through that as they're forced to back up for the side of Sigma No Hands, and they're just going to hold this choke. They know exactly what they need to do. They need to not get caught on this choke. The wall doesn't catch anyone, and there's Doom's wall to deny as Joshua takes down Atlas. And the Deadeye does go off, getting some shield damage in, but it's just not going to get as much value because of QWQ with that defense matrix. Joshua, he does get stunned, but now the wall comes out. He blocks the shatter, and he's going to get the shatter onto Soko, who's going to get demeched. The freeze is going to be there onto Icarus as Redemption and Soko both go down. Advice with a clean double kill, and they have to touch here. Mark had to touch, and we've already seen the GGs in chat because they just can't get back.
I take it back, Bird. I was wrong. Joshua is playing incredibly.
Yeah, he's playing outstanding.
I mean, like, the block shatter straight into a 4-man, or was it 4-man or 5? I don't even remember. It was a lot of players down on their backs, sitting on the butt, and yeah. it was just so much. I'm just really impressed. It really goes to show you why aggression wins in Overwatch. The aggressive team typically going to be the winning team, and that has certainly been the case here. 3-0, a sweep, if you will, particularly on those last two matches. Boy, it was close there for a little bit, but without those last two, I mean, that is a dominant 3-0 victory.
Yeah, very, very strong victory coming out there for Edgegamers, who are going to move forward into our winners finals, which is going to be later on today on the Reflash Prod channel. If you want to watch more of these teams, we, however, me and Vincent, we're going to be casting the next losers round in just a little bit, Vincent.
Absolutely, it should be exciting, and I'm excited to see what Edgegamers do in the other upper round matchup. Though it isn't all over. Sigma No Hands. This was an upper bracket match, so they do go down to that lower bracket. That it is going to give them an opportunity to maybe play against one of those teams who are trying to run it back through the lowers, and it makes it for an exciting matchup nonetheless, because that is where teams are do or die. There's no safety net available. They have to just win it out. All that being said, though, we do need to prep things and get ready for that. So why don't you guys go do a little bit of snacking, grab something to eat, grab something to drink, and make sure that you're prepped and ready for some more Overwatch action. And we'll be back very soon.
See you guys in a few. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Monkey Bubble Reflash. We have our losers semifinal match here for you. It is going to be attack mode versus side hustle. I'm going to be your play-by-play caster Bard. I'm joined by Vincent. Vincent, how you doing?
Well, we just saw an interesting game. We are coming down to the lower bracket. We were up at the upper bracket, and now it should be, I hope, an even more interesting game, honestly, because attack mode, side hustle. Two teams with some players you might recognize, to be honest. Attack mode is attack mode, has been playing with this roster for at least the last season of OD, as well as a bunch of other tournaments in between, Gauntlet, et cetera, et cetera. You know all the things if you've been following Tier 2 Overwatch. And if you haven't, well, then what's wrong with you? Support Tier 2 Overwatch. Come on, mate. Nonetheless, Side Hustle, on the other hand, is kind of a who's who of players coming in from a bunch of different areas. We got Fishcake coming in from Noble, who placed 5th to 6th in Contenders Gauntlet, and 4th in Contenders Proper last season. We have the likes of Madero, who played with Yeedle's team, Old Man Strength, for the last couple of OD seasons. We have Milky Man, who played for Noble as well, with Fishcake. Then Maximus, who played for Susano. For in last contenders, he placed 3rd in Gauntlet. Remember, with Maximus, and I mean, it's just kind of like crazy. This team is now in the lower bracket. I was telling you, Bard, that it kind of blows my mind, especially like, by the way, Eli, who is a British player from EU contenders. Last season played with War Esports. So it's like a lot of good players. And something didn't click. They lost to Maryville, and here they are. They've got to take on attack mode, who is by no means a bad roster in any way. They placed, I think it was 7th, 8th last OD, but couldn't quite make that jump. But they certainly had some good results in between.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Side Hustle, they clawed their way back against Maryville, bringing it to a map 5, almost winning that game. And attack mode with a clean 3-0 in their last game. So this is two teams coming off very different momentums as they come into this first control match, which is going to be Oasis. And we've just saw Side Hustle lose Oasis to Maryville on the last map. So they're going to be coming back into this map with a fire, with a passion. They want vengeance for that last game.
I certainly do. And with that, looks like we're going to be getting into it. And that means I think this could be exciting. I took a look at mainstream, by the way, was hearing that they were potentially playing some ball comps. I only saw brawl comps that were happening on stream when we got there. But I think we could see some interesting stuff, particularly right here on this stage in particular, because this is so good for dive. To be fair, 2 stages on Oasis that is a very good for dive compositions. But right now, we're seeing Milky Man on a Reinhardt. That's a little bit interesting, though, considering what else is on. I don't think that's going to be staying. And well, neither team's, I don't think, being very serious here in the opener. So we don't really know what's happening yet, do we, Bard?
Yeah, we got to be careful because we've been known to be baited in the past by players who pick things in the run up. But this is going to be the Clockwork Vendetta strat coming out from attack mode. It looks like this is actually what they're going to be running.
I can't believe they're running this, Bard.
This is great.
I want to see how this does. This is so interesting. Of course, you have the Torb, you have the Orisa, recently buffed. Here we go. This should be interesting.
Oh, look at the poke. There's no shield to be seen there for Milky Man. He peeks there with the shield for just a second, and immediately it is gone. And now Edison, peeking to the side, he's going to take down Rocket's turret, just try and give his team a little space. And the wall's going to come out very well done, but instead it's going to be the counter wall and the follow-up by Ship to take out Milky Man. And this is where we see the Vendetta comp work its magic. One down, and then they can just walk into the enemy team. Chime takes down Edison as well on the May. And that is going to be a quick fight win for attack mode.
Yeah, so the key here right now that we need to look out for Side Hustle, they need to close the distance. That's what really puts this composition at a disadvantage. You got to get there, you got to go quickly, but look at the distance you got to close. It's a long gauntlet to run down, ain't it, Bard?
Oh, absolutely. And now they're going to try for some unique pathing, going to play around, look for that choke. But look at the kiting and the window already coming out from Skyward, dueling windows, but Ship again taking down Milky Man and then just chasing down Edison. No one's allowed to escape from Ship on the Diva here as Rocket takes down Orchid, and Chime's going to clean this up for attack mode.
I mean, that's just a great job from Crimson, the main tank for attack mode, just communicating effectively how they want to move around the map. And oh, that's a brutal stagger, absolutely horrific. Maximus, he's gonna go down, and in fact, he's probably gonna get taken out entirely.
They commit the Blizzard here from Chime. That's so interesting. They're going to walk in and just clean up. And it's, I mean, they could go for the spawn door challenge here as they get walled out and no one's going to be able to escape.
I mean, this is just very solid. Great Overwatch being played right now from attack mode. They are doing absolutely everything that's necessary to make this composition be as effective as it can be. And now, I talked about the gauntlet before. Look at this gauntlet. It's even worse.
Ooh, yeah, and they open it up with the Diva Bomb to go with the bongos coming out there. The Immortality Field forced. Edison, though, gonna catch Neptune with the help of the beat coming out from Fishcake. Eli committing a Blizzard of their own, and maybe overcommitment from attack mode as they are just going to get cleaned up on this objective point.
Yeah, I mean, they did certainly commit 3 ultimates there, attack mode, but it was a loss. And there was a huge commitment on the other side. Sound Barrier, of course, as well as the Earth Shatter and the Blizzard coming in for Side Hustle. So now they're going to try to do the same thing. The problem is their composition not really effective at making that happen. And clearly, attack mode have practiced this a lot.
Yeah, the Deadeye's going to come out. He's on top of the wall, but it's just dodged beautifully from attack mode, who are looking to engage here. They have the window. They have the beat. What are they going to use first? Orchid going to be using the window for Side Hustle as they walk in with the beat for attack mode here. The dueling windows, once again, we've been seeing it all day here as Crimson and Rocket are going to get the tanks for the opposing teams. Orchid gets the trade on the Baptiste to take down Crimson, and they're going to use the Maywall to just kite backwards now. Side Hustle trying to play around this objective point and not get traded out, but the Blizzard's going to come out, and that is not going to be avoidable here as Side Hustle are going to give the point back over, and now it is all about the contest.
Yeah, 96% in taking, and there is going to be some players here, but a lack of ultimates available for attack mode might make this winnable on the recontest, Bart.
Yeah, they're on the recontest playing very slow. Edison using that Deadeye to zone out his side of this middle pillar. But Crimson, he's going to walk his team back in. He's called for the engage. The counter beat is going to be big, and the wall does split them. But Rocket, he's got that Torb ultimate, and that is so much damage laid down on both sides of that center pillar. Crimson going to take down Milkman as Orchid trades out onto Rocket. There's the halt, but it's not going to matter because Orchid and Edison are cleaning up 2 apiece as Chime finally trades out onto Orchid, takes down Edison as well. This might just be a May on versus the world, but it's just not going to happen for Chime there.
And Edison was the crux right there. Took out Skyward in the back line, had that flank, forced out the Immortality to be used selfishly by Skyward, and on top of that came back for the frag later on. It is so important. Those flanking McCree routes by Edison to pull that back. It's now, there was a big investment. Yes, Crimson is going to have the bongo, but that is a big fight winner. So I'll be on the lookout for that bongo here to turn this around.
Absolutely, and there it is being committed early. The wall goes up to slow them down. There's the shatter. He catches 3. That's big. Forces the beat and the Immortality Field, and the bongo's down. I believe they are now pushing into a situation that is no longer favorable for them. But Chime, he's going to turn it back around with the Blizzard, and he's going to catch 2. Chime, 3! Chime! Oh, you're blowing my mind with the May play here. They just have to clean the point up and not let them recontest. And with the May, that is going to be pretty simple. Rocket taking down Fishcake, and Eli not going to be able to stay up in this fight. And it looks like attack mode are going to take round 1.
Back and forth that one was, but ultimately attack mode looking to be the stronger of the two. We were watching Side Hustle flounder a little bit. They were not sure how to deal with the odd composition. I mean, you said it was the Clockwork Vendetta comp. I mean, I think it's a little bit different, to be fair, but it certainly is that type of composition where you have one goal in mind. You know what your win conditions are. You play it out correctly, and it's all about whether or not your opponent can figure out how to how to deal with it, right? Because there's a reason why this isn't a meta composition, right? It's because typically it's not going to be as good, but if you do it right, you can make just about anything work. And right now, that's exactly what attack mode are doing. They're continuing that exact same thing, as it's going to be the Ryan Zarya this time. No Diva online. So yeah, once again, it's all about how to close the distance, Bard. You got to get up close and personal with this composition. The side hustle are running.
Yeah, and Edison, very smart, just poking away at the side as his team walks in. There's the turret going down, as well as the immortality already forced out. Edison taking some poke damage from the Torbjorn of all places, but now Milkman, no, that is not where you want to be. Caught between a wall, the immortality committed, but not able to save him, and now Crimson can just walk in as his team are continuing to poke away. He takes down Maximus as well, and it's going to be real tough for you to control the point here when you are completely sent back to the spawn room.
Yeah, once again, Addison doing a great job of poking from distance, forcing out resources, making himself be a real problem for the entirety of Side Hustle. But the engagement from attack mode so very strong. They came in using that wall effectively, and Chime almost has a blizzard off the back of it.
Yeah, Chime so effective on that Mei as they're going to try and walk in for the side of Side Hustle. They want to just take a little control, use this window to poke, but the high ground control is going to be so strong. And there's the counter window. Crimson taking off Fishcake already with that. Chime forced to drop, and they're going to catch Neptune. That's a big pick, but Rocket trades out onto Maximus, and now the Reinhardt all alone. Eli trades out onto Chime, though. Rocket going to be forced to use this ultimate. Not a lot to stop him as Edison goes down, and now I think Side Hustle, they're going to back up and just slow down here.
They got to. I mean, there's really no choice in the matter. A pretty significant investment from them. That being said, coming back in, they have two big tank ultimates, and this could be the tide turner for them.
Ooh, Crimson also gets caught on the wrong side of a wall, but now we're going to be in a good shatter coming out here, but it gets blocked by Crimson, and the Blizzard gets eaten by Ship. That's huge. Ship eats the grab, too. Ship is hungry, and they're feeding him everything he could want here. Skyward takes down Edison as Maximus trades out onto Crimson, but it's not going to be enough. Maximus going down to Skyward, and Milky Man getting traded too. Fishcake, he's trying to be heroic here on the Lucio as the point has flipped over to Side Hustle, but Ship with a massive play there.
Ship, you mad lad! He ate them both! How to win a fight 101 if you're a diva? Just eat all of the ults. Forehead? Like what? I don't think I've seen that in my entire life casting Overwatch. 2 eats 1 fight. Incredible stuff from Ship. And now you're coming back in here. What do you have? You have nothing if you're Side Hustle.
Oh, somebody call Shanghai Dragons because Void is smurfing on attack mode right now. And now they're jumping in here. The shields are not going to be able to stay up as they've swapped to a Hanzo comp here to poke with for Edison instead of the McCree. And as they push in, Ship, he's just eating all the fire strikes. He's eating all the attacks. They're trying to push in, but there's just no way to get in with all of the defense here. Ship, he's just eating everything. And there's the bomb, immortality forced, and he still catches Orchid. Chime and Crimson follow up with a huge pair of freezes. Crimson with a double in attack mode. They've already won map 1.
Bard, I don't know what the heck we just watched, but Ship went Super Saiyan. Holy cow. Walking away, making it look simple there on the last stage, but jeez, it certainly was a team effort. I have to give credit to Chime. This was an incredible Blizzard, picking up 3 off the back of that, both the tanks as well. The adjustment from Side Hustle to try and play the Sigma and the Reinhardt, allowing for more shields to easily close the distance down. It was a good idea, but it doesn't matter when you have players making huge plays like we just saw from attack mode.
Yeah, Ship and Chime are the new DPS duo. Rocket is there on the Torbjorn. He's just an extra tank, putting that poke down with the turret so that the team
Right.
he controls the space. Chime, I'm still reeling. That was 2 amazing fights in a row just coming out of Chime and Ship there. Just that's absolutely incredible. I don't have analysis for that. Just go back and rewatch the fight because that's wonderful.
I mean, like, I didn't see, honestly, what, like, you know, I'd have to go back and break it down to see, like, if it was a big mistake from Side Hustle that allowed for Ship to have that opportunity. But it doesn't matter, realistically, because Ship did it. you know, whenever there's always moments, right, in a game where you have to step up, you have to be make the big plays, and it doesn't matter how you get there, it just matters that you make it happen. And this time Ship did just that. So I don't even care how it happened. I just care that it did. And we're seeing an attack mode that honestly looks indomitable, at least on map 1. Granted, we are going to Havana. I think that this definitely makes it a little bit tougher for Side Hustle. The reason I say that, this map, I think, is perfect for the style that they were just playing by attack mode.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the last thing you want to do when you leave spawn doors is see an Orisa, Torbjorn, and May, Baptiste, just core standing outside waiting for you. You're going to walk out there. You're going to get walled. You're going to get shot by the turret and the Torb shotgun at the same time. You're going to get halted so you can't escape. And the Baptiste is going to keep his whole team alive. So I'm concerned here if you're Side Hustle.
I mean, yeah, concerned is maybe an understatement, Bard. I have to be honest. This is a problem, a big problem for this side. Now, granted, attack mode might not even come out with that. They are on the attack at the moment, so I would be unsurprised, let's just say, if they were to go with something a little bit more normal on the attack side. That being said, it doesn't really matter. Defensively, that composition is very strong. So once we get to the defensive side for attack mode, I would expect to see that pulled out. For the time being, though, let's talk about Side Hustle. They are definitely expecting to see this on the attack for some reason, because Milky Man and Maximus, they're playing Reinhardt Sigma as this duo, and this is clearly not what they wanted to play initially, because they swapped to it in order to try and counter outside the entirety of attack mode, right? So I'm interested to see. This isn't a terrible composition by any means. I don't want to suggest that, Bard. But what I do want to say is that look at what they're coming out. Okay, never mind. They're doing it on attack anyway.
They're gonna pull it out.
That's fine.
Neptune double baited us. He wrote it in match chat and he locked the Moira, but he's gonna stay on that Lucio and his team's just gonna speed out. And look at this, because they have the speed, they can just come out the other side and set up, and there's not going to be that brawl that's going to be ready there. The wall does come out, though. That's really good from Eli, and the immortality forced early for attack mode. This is going to be a good chance for them to push in as the turret also goes down, but Rocket, dink, 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 and Eli is dead in the spawn room. That's a huge first pick, and now they just have to set up and walk in on this brawl because they've lost a lot of that utility, a lot of that point control, and now Milky Man, he's just trying not to die, but is not going to be saved. Neptune going in here, and Maximus and Orchid, they really just want to be alive here. Rocket, he pulled the hammer out! Rocket, that's disrespectful! Oh. This is OD your ladder.
I mean, yeah, but listen, if you're not going to do the VO, but when you're in OD, don't do it in ladder. I respect it. You love to see the hammer kills coming through from Rocket, and Eli has swapped. This is a great swap. I love this from Eli. Playing the Echo could certainly be the tide turner. That being said, you are going to be having a tough time against the turret that Rocket puts up. That's exactly what you got to do. Commit the sticky bombs, try to take those out. Maximus does just that.
Yeah, they're looking for this first pick early now with a hard poke double shield composition, and the Discord is going to be huge here as they engage. The Dragon splits them up, and Skyward goes down after the window comes out. Milky Man is going to take down that too, and Edison, he's on the flank. This isn't ladder, this is OD. You're not supposed to be flanking 24/7, but he gets 2-3 picks, and Eli's going to follow it up. That's a huge turnaround for Side Hustle.
Edison doing his best Pine impression right there, just getting into the back line and smacking people around, doing a great job of just that. Use the Dragons early, got the opening pick already at 50% to another one. These swaps, particularly the one that Eli made onto Echo, and it's a little bit understated, but Fish Cake onto the Zenyatta makes a lot of sense because it makes Crimson's life miserable. The shield break is so strong, and well, there's that.
Edison, let them set up, my man. They need a chance here when you're hitting those shots. Crimson, though, trading it back. So is Chime, but Milky Man and Orchid, they're going to clean this up. There's not a chance they're going to let you touch the objective point, and Edison just gonna clean up with the 2K.
I mean, very nice shots. Let's be really honest about it. Definitely not something that you want to see if you're a fan of attack mode. We see some adjustments coming through. No more May. Chime now gonna be onto that Tracer. Gonna try and give Fish Cake a bit of a problem. as well as that Rocket has moved to a little bit of a longer range dueler with the McCree, probably trying to deal with Edison, I would imagine. Milky Man now has a bit of something with the Orisa.
Oh, there's the bongo coming out, but the beat to engage, and they just walk in skyward, taking out Eli as Chime is just going to pressure out Fishcake on the Zenyatta ship, following through, taking down Edison. And now the supports, they're forced to back up with their main tanks, and they might already be out of this fight if they don't find a pick quickly.
Oh, no! That was the contest! He had
needed that trance.
He had the trance, yeah. That's the problem. Now they're going to have to try and recontest just with this duplicate.
Yeah, they commit the duplicate. A good halt combo, too. There are a lot of damage. Skyward, though, going to trade out on Edison, and the bomb is going to take out everything for Ship. There's no more pets on the field. Eli and Maximus, though, they get the damage. Take down Rocket and Neptune before Skyward can trade them out. And Maximus, a good use of the Flux here. But Chime in the backline, both supports Chime. This is not the game that you're supposed to be playing here.
Chime just popping off, doing everything alone. The entirety of the team falls, and Chime says, don't worry, I'll do it myself. As they pick up 4 frags there on the recontest. Fishcake swapping off the Zenyatta. Clearly, it's a problem because Chime exists in the back line and going on to the Mercy as well. Trying to do something, trying to make some adjustments. This double shield comp seems to be at least working a little bit. Crimson now swapping off of what was the crazy composition now onto the Reinhardt. So it's almost as if we've swapped positions here. Attack mode now playing the Brawl, and it's going to be Side Hustle who are doing the spam.
Yeah, and as they walk in here, Edison, he's just looking for the early pick, just trying to maybe find Chime in his backline, who's just poking so well, forcing them to take positions they probably don't want to be in at the moment. And Rocket with a quick cleanup dome headshot to Edison. There's no way you want to stay in that. And now Chime can just walk into the backline. Eli dropped incredibly low, forcing the Mercy back to him. But the resurrection, Chime, are you kidding me? The pulse on the Fishcake is huge, and this fight is already getting cleaned up. Eli forced to use the dupe, and the point has just been walking this whole time. There's the pulse bomb, but no, the immortality field is there from Skyward. But Edison with 2, Edison cleaning this up, keeping his team in this fight as Maximus and Milky Man are going to walk in, DMX the Diva, and take out Chime. Milky Man getting Skyward 2 as Eli cleans it up. What a turnaround.
Back and forth, dude. Those tracer plays from both sides. The duplicate from Eli, as well as Chime himself, doing such massive work. Fishcake swapped off, I don't know to what, in order to potentially get back quicker. Now back onto this Mercy to help Eli out with the air duel. With that being said, Ultimate's coming up online here for the attack mode side. They are going to have to try and make something work.
They're stuck in a corner as a dragon flies through, and the disintegration beam plus the sticky bombs. Eli is just gonna have a field day with the side of attack mode.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just a difficult spot to be in, right? If you're attack mode, number one, this particular choke point is hard. You don't have any high ground control. You have to path correctly. I want to see maybe attack mode path around to the left side from this perspective, but they're not. They're just going to be continuing pushing here, and this is, once again, like I said, a gauntlet that they have to run through.
They are able to touch the point, but Orchid is going to trade Neptune out, punish him for forcing the contest there. But Rocket with 2! Fishcake and Edison both dropped, and now Chime in the backline is just going to poke away here. The bomb from Eli on the dupe isn't going to catch anyone. Rocket taking down Milky Man. Rocket is just going heroic for his team here, as Chime is also just putting the pressure on to this Echo, trying to stay up here, but it's not going to happen. Eli and Orchid, they do get 2 here. Maximus is trying to stay up, but he's just not going to survive forever unless Edison can come back and make a hero play of his own. Orchid and Edison come back, save Maximus, and force attack mode off the point. What was that defense, Vincent?
I mean, it was defensive adjustments, right? Like, we just saw one team playing one way. Then adjustments come through, slow, steady, right? From Side Hustle. They make the adjustments necessary to shut down what attack mode we're doing. And then we run it back, attack mode swap to basically the same comp that Side Hustle initially were running on map number 1. It seems as if we've gone for full circle at this point. And from here, what do you do? I think that the problem was that attack mode stopped adjusting. That's why they got stopped here at point number 2. I thought it was intelligent for them to go down underneath, but I think the right way to go might have been all the way around to the right. Going through, I guess it would be the left from this perspective, but you get my point. Outside. Sorry, perspectives are difficult. Nonetheless, I think that would have been maybe the right rotation, or you just go and play the game that you've been playing all along, but better. The problem is that Eli and Edison made that impossible.
Yeah, but here, this is the spawn camp comp. They've got the McCree, they've got the May, they've got the Ryan and the Diva, and that Baptiste. Again, so much healing coming out from Skyward, who has had a fantastic game. Orchid doing a bit more damage, I think, but Skyward's done a great job keeping his team up.
Well, yeah, for now, at the very least, and we'll see how it works. It's going to be a swap immediately, though, to that more brawly comp.
Ooh, both Maywalls already out. No one caught for either side, and they're just going to try and brawl this out here, playing around the point R attack mode. They want to play around this cart. They want to force someone out of position so that they can get the picks around those walls. And now Chime, he has the wall up. We saw what he did last map. Can he do it again? There's another wall. The Immortality forced out as both main tanks drop to the ground. Both Ryans here being kept up by the Immortality fields, but their shields are dropping, and there's a window already for Skyward. The stun coming out, but Maximus has traded out Crimson, and it might not be winnable here for attack mode any longer, but they're going to stay up on this objective point as long as possible because that extra time is invaluable.
About 45 seconds gained from that close hold. The less than 30-second at Matrix from Skyward is beautiful, by the way. That was incredible. Orchid now does have that Ant Matrix up as well. Milky Man with an Earth Shatter and Eli with the Blizzard. Big ultimates coming online. I mean, basically all 6 coming online for Side Hustle. They just got to try and use them effectively. Neptune really needs to come up big with the sound barrier. That's going to be the key. How many ultimates can Neptune deal with?
Yeah, there's the beat. The shatter gets blocked by Chime's wall. Chime is the Reinhardt now. He's gonna block you off. You can't use your ultimate when Chime is in the game here. And the Blizzard was committed too from Eli and catches nothing. And they've made the full rotation that they wanted to make. All they've traded out was a beat here as the Deadeye also comes out. Rocket using his, and this might get value, especially if that shield goes down. They break the shield. Rocket takes down Edison. The beat now committed for Side Hustle, but they've already lost one. Now they're just trying to take down Skyward, but the ammo's already been used. But this does give room for this bomb. Is he going to look for it? The Blizzard comes out, not being eaten. Chime takes down Milky Man, and Ship takes down Fishcake. Eli trades it out, but it's not going to matter when Chime gets a double kill, and they've completely turned it around now. Attack mode have taken back control of the point.
How? How, Bard? There was 6 ultimates online. They used 5 of them and get nothing. Nothing at all. Side Hustle. They've got to go back to the drawing board. What incredible play right now from attack mode on the defensive side. They just dealt with absolutely everything, and they now have an ult advantage of their own.
Oh, there's the bomb. Both bombs being traded out. Maximus with a double kill. Skyward and Rocket. The Immortality field is not up to save the team here. And now it's going to come down to this beat from attack mode. Neptune just trying to keep his team alive and in this, but Milky Man with the charge will take down Trime. And Crimson is next. Milky Man is just swinging that hammer, not letting anyone stay on this objective point alive.
Bro, Neptune just had to beat 2 fights in a row, dude. 2 fights, 2 sound barriers. This guy's built different. He's built different. You cannot convince me otherwise. Literally built different. I mean, what incredible work. That being said, this is a great adjustment. Side Hustle just got about a minute left when they cap. That does make things a little bit more difficult, but playing out, they're caught up in the open attack mode.
Orchid and Edison just cleaning up both DPS down immediately as Edison follows up on Skyward, and attack mode. The charge is a good consolation kill, but they're not staying in this fight.
That is a huge mistake. They were playing close. They wanted to play together. They wanted to maybe get an engagement right on the cart, force a lot more time off of it, just like that early rotation to hold on point number one. But they tried to rotate out kind of halfway. They made a half mistake, right? And so they got caught out in the open, got split down the middle, and now it's a huge bout of ultimates coming up online here for Side Hustle. It's going to have to be heroics for attack mode.
Yeah, Rocket, he takes down Eli with the Deadeye, and Chime trades out onto Edison, who was trying to use a Deadeye of his own. This is another big bomb, though, coming in here. Doesn't catch anything, but it does force Ship into a bad position. The B being committed now by Side Hustle as Milky Man takes down 2. Orchid takes down Neptune, and this might have been a fantastic map choice here for the side of Side Hustle because they are rolling through this second point.
I don't even think it mattered the map choice. I think it mattered the adjustments. They just kept making adjustments. They kept changing faster than attack mode can respond to. Because now it's last fight territory. Ult's online for attack mode. Can they finish it out?
Yeah, Chime here is going to be looking for that Blizzard, but it might not matter. Rocket with a quick kill onto Edison. Both Blizzards coming out here. Everyone is a little chilly on this map today. Orchid going to use the window on the high ground to keep his team up, but I think it's a little too late as most of them have been sent back to the spawn room. But Milky Man with the shatter. What is he doing? How is he alive in this fight? How are they staying up here? Side Hustle. The tanks have put the team on their back and the supports have let them. And this is going probably here, unless Neptune can do something crazy, which he can't. This is going to go to Side Hustle. We are 1-1.
One apiece already, Martin. What an exciting 2 maps we just watched. We're coming back in this one. We saw 3-0 earlier, but that is not going to be the case here. Chime, play of the game, unsurprising, to be honest. And yeah, you're right. Twice in a row now that I think about it. This is how we saw the 5 ultimates come out and nothing gained. What a great play here from attack mode, but it wasn't quite enough to bring them over the edge. That big mistake on the entry to point 2, that was it, Bard. That was it. Attack mode lost due to that mistake. And sometimes, you know, when you get down to it, it's who makes the least mistakes. And this time, attack mode made more.
Yeah, at this level of play, when the teams are so close and playing so well against each other and with their teammates and just playing just peak Overwatch that you really won't see anything better outside of Owl, in my opinion. It is just those small mistakes, those small little things that really do decide these maps. And you're right, that small mistake from attack mode on the defense on that second point. And I think just a number of mistakes just not making those changes fast enough on the attack for attack mode really just decided this map.
Yeah, you know, a great adjustment from Side Hustle. I don't want to take anything away from them.
Oh, for
Yes,
sure.
attack mode did make a big mistake, and credit to them. Side Hustle really saw that and immediately in the blink of an eye took advantage. They split the team and they made that work for them. But also on top there was Orchid, I believe, who was on the Batiste. He got so much value in that last fight, just consistently able to stay alive, dancing around up there, and nobody except for the opposing Batista Skyward was aware of it. Unfortunately, for the entirety of the attack mode, there needed to be a few more people aware of that because he just had a great position and just impeccable healing. Right, outputting so much, and like you said, it was the tanks who did eventually get the kills. But don't pretend like it was not the all off the back of Orchid who is keeping them healthy, because that is exactly what it was. If Orchid falls there, that is definitely gonna be a Side Hustle loss.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Orchid and Fishcake as well, who was there on the Lucio, speeding Milky Man in there after the shatter, putting him in the right position, corralling the enemy team into that hammer as well. Just really allowed Milky Man and Maximus to roll through that last point exactly how they would want to, even without DPS damage. They got the shatter off. They kept everyone alive. They broke all the shields. There was no ammo to be found without DPS. That was essentially a 4-on-5 or a 4-on-6. And that tank and support synergy was just all there to keep everyone up and keep everyone doing that damage. So really well done from Side Hustle.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was. I will say, most teams, I think, are going to get caught out by a composition like attack mode through in map number 1. And to their credit, Side Hustle did get caught out by it. Weren't really quite sure what to do, but then they made adjustments in map number 2 in order to potentially counter that. We didn't see that composition come out, and immediately they recognized that, hey, we're not seeing what we thought we were seeing. We're gonna swap before we do anything. We're going to go back to our initial plan. And we see so often, right, teams that are not mentally strong, they try to make an adjustment, and then they just get kind of zoned in on that adjustment, and they don't really do anything else. They don't recognize, okay, well, maybe the circumstances have changed. Side Hustle, they didn't do that. And so now going into a third map of this series, it's King's Row, of course, as you would expect. It's always King's Row.
It's the only hybrid map in the game, Vincent. I don't know what you're talking about.
I really could be convinced this is the only hybrid map in the game. But we're going to it once again, and it is an awesome map. So there's a reason we play it all the time. And I think that is where I'm looking for Side Hustle in this game. They definitely need to be able to continue that solid adjustment phase where they look at what is in front of them and see, okay, what do we need to do in order to deal with it?
Oh, for sure. And Side Hustle here, they're going to have to adapt around this Clockwork Vendetta comp again, as Ship on the Diva we see here, Crimson on that Orisa, and they're just going to set up on this high ground. I like this. Let them take a position and then drop in on him.
Exactly. A great position. That being said, all coming down low now, so maybe not so much. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, the immediate adjustment back onto that double shield poke comp. This is really well done from Side Hustle yet again, and now the poke just gonna be in favor of Side Hustle as they're just taking this objective point, walking onto it. But the full rotation coming out here from attack mode as they push all the way around, take control of that statue for themselves, and they're getting a lot of damage. Rocket taking down Edison, and a window again from Skyward. First fight already. Ship taking down Milky Man. They did manage to take a tick here for the side of Side Hustle, but Skyward, he is a DPS here taking down Fish Cake, and Ship is going to be the fourth DPS, I guess, trading out the rest.
We've been seeing so much interesting and dynamic Matisse play today. It's absolutely brilliant to see the impact of these support players coming through in big moments. That being said, DPS still have the potential to pop off, and Eli has done just that, already building up to a duplication, and Edison close by onto a dragon. So this could be the difference maker. Both these DPS ults available for Side Hustle.
Yeah, now Eli just poking away at that turret. Very well done, and the dragon going to come out here from Edison. Rocket trades out on Maximus, but that damage from the dragon is already there, and Crimson just completely cut off. Rocket now trying to take the 1v1 with Edison. This is dangerous. Edison has been on fire all night, and there it is, a headshot onto Rocket, and the point's already almost been capped. Eli gonna get the bomb off with that duplicate as Ship is just moving in here, but the Blizzard, and there's nothing to stop it. Orchid trades out onto Crimson as Neptune takes on Milky Man. Neptune committing a sound barrier here as he is brawling on his own in this high ground. Very interesting to see. Fun Lucio gameplay. And now oh no, Eli catches Skyward as the window goes down for attack mode, and this is just not going to be very good for them as Maximus is going to take out Ship and Eli takes out Neptune. Rocket, he trades out on Fish Cake, but I think this is over for attack mode.
It was a solid hold, all things considered, but I think what you mentioned early in that fight, before really things got kicked off, or rather early in this map before things really got kicked off, the adjustment right there from Side Hustle, this is a better poke comp. There's just no real doubt about it. It's the rotations that really allow for attack mode to strongly position themselves in effective places. That being said, when you run out of rotations, you just run out of resources. And it was exactly that. Attack mode, running out of resources there, not able to continue it, and with the better poke composition, the resources very much there for Side Hustle.
Oh, absolutely. And the dragon being used and the flux. They baited out the immo early, but it is still going to be up as they fall to the ground. But Eli and Orchid does not matter to them. They are doing the damage, and it looks like this is already a fight won for the side of Side Hustle. Sorry.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now, granted, a huge amount of investment. Let's not pretend around it here. That was what, 4 ultimates essentially invested? Not quite. There was 3. but 3 big ticket items as well. So Crimson swapping over. I was gonna say I think it might be about time, Bard, that we change things up on the side of attack mode if we really want to see them hold here. Is now it is those adjustments coming through. Chime back onto the Tracer, something we really enjoyed watching before, and Crimson now playing this Reinhardt.
Yeah, and Ship, he goes straight up into that high ground to pressure out Maximus, and
Oh.
there's Chime already there with him. Ship gonna commit the bomb into the backline. This might be big. It is! It catches Edison and Orchid, and Chime takes out Maximus now. Chime, he's gonna take out Fishcake before the res can come in, and now it's just Eli and Milky Man here, but I don't think they're gonna survive this.
Adjustments, 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 Bard. We've done it before. We're doing it again. And it's just been a great job overall from attack mode of realizing when their strategy is no longer working, right? And that's part of what's difficult about Overwatch is, you know, sometimes you're unsure about whether or not your strategy has failed. It was clear, and attack mode said, let's change things up. So they have changed things up, and now let's see how it works. It worked before over on Havana, but only for a certain amount of time.
Oh, absolutely. And the poke here, I think, loses to the brawl, but as they engage Chime in the backline, he really is just being a nuisance. He's not getting any picks, really, but he's just putting the pressure down. The Pulse Bomb committed just to force them out of position. There's the Bongo, but with the beat, they can just walk in. But the Flux catches Crimson, and now he has to play very careful. Both the Mortality Fields forced out, but Fishcake, the DPS, now takes down Rocket, and Neptune gonna trade out Edison. Both Lucios taking out the McCrees. That's something you don't see every day. And now Chime just pushing in on the Baptiste, on the Orisa, just trying to force them into a position where they have to back out here, and it looks like that is what is going to happen. But no, they commit the window. They're going to walk in, and there's the Shatter. No, Crimson doesn't get the Shatter off. Instead, Eli and Orchid trade out and get these picks. Chime now, the only one able to contest the point, but I don't think he's going to last very long.
I mean, yeah, it's just a matter of time at this point, even with the healer up. And the Doomfist was there. Edison just trying to make sure to get back in time to recontest. He's going to go back to spawn in order to swap off there. Chime now on to interesting back to this Mei. I don't know if I love this. I feel like that there was a lot of value from the Tracer, but Chime clearly thinking that more can be done on the Mei.
Yeah, Chime, I like the Mei pick here to counter out, use those walls to brawl in, and it looks like it's going to work because Ship taking out Maximus early, maybe caught out of position there, and I think this is just a quick backup here if you are Side Hustle.
Yeah, I mean, huge mispositioning from Maximus. That let's not undersell it. Maximus was certainly nowhere close to where they should have been. Trying to get aggressive, trying to hold up front, but now you are starting to get back onto that huge tank line ultimate combo of Milky Man and Maximus, and there goes the first already.
Yeah, there's the window, and Crimson already taking down that Bongo. Eli gonna have the Blizzard, gonna commit it, but Chime trades out onto Edison. Ship with the bomb, he's only to get an Immortality Field well placed from Orchid there as Maximus and Milky Man walk in, getting one apiece. And this, oh, the beat comes out from Neptune. That was clutch, keeping his team up, keeping himself up, but the Flux is going to be committed now. And Chime trades out onto Eli, but he's not gonna survive for very long.
Short-lived indeed. Gotta go backward, do attack mode. They have about 50 seconds left to hold, and they do have some tools at their disposal, mainly Crimson on this Earth Shatter, but it is going to be a little bit more difficult considering the amount of shields available to Eli. No, don't do them like this. Side Hustle continue evolving in real time as now the Bastion comes through.
Oh, and it's a Bastion with a window. Chime, run, dude. You don't want to be out there. And the wall already taken down. The entire wall taken down before the timer runs out. But Rocket trades out onto Edison, and that's very good. And now the Orisa shield's been put down. They can walk in and use the Shatter. Crimson being very passive. He does finally get the Shatter. Milky Man dropped to the ground. Not going to stay up for very long as the Blizzard is going to be committed. They just tossed it right in. They knew they had nothing to worry about. And that Bastion, I don't think he's getting out of there alive. No, he's not. Chime takes him down. Neptune takes on Fishcake. Edison comes back in to try and contest this as it is overtime, but Rocket with a double kill. It's just Maximus, and off the map you go. Neptune says, no more contesting for you.
See you later. Nice little boop to end things off, and, well, honestly, I do like that they went for that. I mean, listen, it was a desperation play. and I don't know if they knew that they didn't really that there was basically one ultimate available. I think that they anticipated there being a pretty large ult disadvantage. That's the only reason I can imagine that Eli would take such desperate action to go onto the Bastion. That being said, though, clearly was pretty effective, and I think that a worse team than attack mode would have faltered to that, would have been caught out of position, would not have been able to go around the corner fast enough. And so it was just because attack mode is so good at those rotations. That's what they have been doing well all game, that they were able to make that work and come away victorious. So it's not a 3-point lead coming through for Side Hustle. Attack mode, they can win it out in the regulation without going to extra rounds. And this is looking very doable. Back onto the defense, though. We do see a similar composition to what we were seeing before. No Orisa for Milky Man, but it is going to be the Reinhardt and the Sigma coming out with similar DPS lineup that we have seen. Eli, though, on the Mei, just trying to slow things down. I think this makes sense defensively, don't you think, Bard?
Yeah, I like the Mei here. Slows them down, walls to pressure, especially if you're going to brawl after you have that poke phase. Oh, Chime. He almost caught Eli out of position there. Almost caught him right in the face with that sniper rifle of Widowmaker, but doesn't get the first pick, so he's going to swap back over, and it is the Clockwork Vendetta comp again.
Once more, trying the rotations. This is a good map to do it. The rotations can be brutal for the defense.
Oh, for sure. And this poke battle is going to be so brutal if you get caught out of position for the side of Side Hustle. And now the high ground is taken. The rock gets a little bit of value for Maximus, but that's a lot of good area control.
Well, and this is where this composition is so strong. You just have so much space to continue shooting in and forcing out cooldowns, essentially, from the opponents.
Oh, for sure. And there's the window. Skyward! Stop building windows so fast in the first fight. Oh man, I'm trying to have one dry fight without any ults, and Skyward's just going crazy. Rocket and Crimson trading out too. The Mei not going to be getting any value from the spawn room as Skyward takes down Edison, and Orchid with a good trade, I guess, takes Ship out of that mech. But first point kind of just got speed ran by attack mode.
Yeah, I just want to throw it out there, though. Maximus does have a gravitic flux online. That is incredibly fast to build one of those things up. One of the higher, or at least more expensive ultimates available. And Maximus, speaking of which, going to be getting aggressive, probably looking to use this gravitic flux in order to get the rest of their team back into this point. They've got a big ult advantage, and, well, that gravitic flux is one of those.
Yeah, that gravitic flux is going to be big as they try and hold this choke point. We talked earlier in our earlier match about how strong this choke is, and it's proving to be strong once again. Maximus kind of getting pressured out on this high ground here. Not forced down quite yet, but Chime commits the blizzard. He catches Eli, and he's not going to be saved by the immortality field. Ship and Crimson going to follow up as well under Orchid and Milky Man. And yeah, notice how we talked about how strong this choke was? Attack mode have already taken it.
Yeah, that's
Rocket, no!
Oh, no, Rocket, not again. Come
the same
on,
person.
Dude. Poor guy. Maximus is just, like, and listen, he's just trying to die, right? Like, there's literally no reason for him to survive, so he's just standing there and has to take it on the nose. But, yeah, this is just a great start from the side of attack mode. They do everything that they need to do. Now, using that bongo, it's just going to be a matter of time as they buy so much space, so much time to stall this point out, and it's almost a 0.2 capture off the back of just that one ultimate. It's a zoning bongo, but it's a great bongo.
Yeah, for sure, and the damage that's going to come out from it too is going to be huge. Milky Man, he puts the shatter down, Rocket's on the floor, Rocket's on the charge. No, Crimson, you're not supposed to go solid there. Rocket dies immediately on the charge there, and Skyward, even with the window on the high ground, he's not going to keep his team up, and he's not going to keep himself up.
Well, Bart, I mentioned that it was all on the Milky Man. That Earth Shatter needed to be big, and it certainly was. So, Milky Man making those plays when necessary that I was talking about earlier in the matchup. That being said, Rocket has this Torbjorn ultimate online. That could be a bit of a problem, especially if it's well placed. That Molten Core, it kind of goes everywhere, doesn't it? Makes you have to position yourself very well.
Yeah, goes everywhere, does a lot of damage. It's like mines, basically. Oh, what a
Yeah.
fast engage. I didn't expect this fight to start so quickly, but they just walk right in with the Molten Core Rocket taking down Milky Man and Fish Cake. That's what we were talking about. The Molten Core, it goes everywhere, it does a lot of damage, and your whole team drops in front of it. Rocket getting a double kill there, and Ship and Chime will clean this up, and that's 4 minutes to take this third point.
Bard, there's a reason why these guys are playing Overwatch at this level, and we are just commentating it. It's because we didn't expect that to go through, but they recognize how out of position Maximus was up on top, and so they're like, let's just win the 6v5. It's easy. And they just pushed forward, splitting the entire tank line, and it was over before it even began.
Yeah, really well done. And Skyward with another big window takes down Milky Man. They see that the ammo's been used, and it's going to be big. Orchid and Edison taking down Skyward with another pick. And this is going to be one last fight here for Side Hustle.
Yeah, one last fight, one last time to try and re-engage, but they're going to have to run out at the very last moment. Milky Man swaps over onto the ball in order to get out, but that's the Deadeye.
And they don't touch. The boops are huge there. The boop and the halt able to keep them off. Attack mode have taken map 3 and go up 2-1.
Incredible stuff from attack mode. They just continue blowing my mind. Neptune, Lucio, play the game, mate. You love to see this one. As wow. I mean, this was just
this is
to
the
close
boop
out.
cleanup at
Yeah,
the end. This is
exactly.
great.
well done. You love to see it. And the sound barrier as well, just for style points, right? Go ahead, Bart.
I'm gonna be honest. When we watched that attack, looked really strong. Yeah. I figured this was going to be a really close game with all the adjustments being made by both sides. And attack mode, they just pulled out the Clockwork Vendetta strat. They just ran it down mid. They didn't pause for a second. That choke that normally holds like 3 minutes of a game, they just walked right through it. Used a Maywall. They were like, "No, it's mine now." Just crazy gameplay from attack mode for that map.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the real problem, right, for Side Hustle is that whenever attack mode got aggressive on their offense, Side Hustle were just on the wrong composition, and that's the issue, right? They weren't playing their whenever they were on attack, they could adjust fast. They could swap onto the more poke style composition, win out the poke duel, and do that effectively. But this time, attack mode, they were the ones who had the opportunity to swap off of whatever they were playing, and they didn't even need to do that because Side Hustle got caught out. And by the time Side Hustle made adjustments, it was just too late. They had already given stuff up, and then a couple of key mistakes, similarly to how Havana went Side Hustle's way because of attack mode making a couple of mistakes. This time it was Side Hustle making a few key mistakes, allowing attack mode to essentially just walk through Streets phase as well as the third phase. But I do know that we are going to be going to yet another map as it's 2-1 attack mode at this point. Side Hustle need to return fire if they want to take this one. But we're going to give them some time, give them some time to think about what to do, because I certainly don't know, but their brain is huge. Mine's a little bit smaller. I'm going to go work on that. We'll be right back right after this.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Monkey Bubble Reflash. We have an exciting game going on right now, a close game between Attack Mode and Side Hustle. I'm Bard doing play-by-play, and I'm joined by Vincent. Vincent, we're going into Temple of Anubis, and it's everyone's favorite game mode type, 2CP.
Everyone's favorite. And well, on top of that, we are at a point where it could be the 3-1. Attack
Could
mode,
be.
they're up one map right now. And this is for all the marble. Side Hustle, if they lose this one, they are gone out. Dunzo for OD this season. And that makes things a little bit more difficult, right? All of the pressure onto you, all of that on your shoulders, right? So attack mode, they have a little bit of room to work with. They're not quite to that point yet because they have that map advantage. I'm looking to see how Side Hustle performs. I'm thinking based on what we've seen, this is not going to phase them at all. We have been watching an incredible matchup, and it's been all about how fast can you swap? How many times can you adjust to what your opponents are doing? And it's just been a back and forth matchup. First of all, attack mode, winning it out on Oasis. Side Hustle, not able to deal with the composition that attack mode were running. Map number 2, we go to Havana. Side Hustle, they win it out. They make better adjustments, and they take advantage of some key mistakes from attack mode. We go all the way to map number 3. That was King's Row. We just watched that one, and it was all about attack mode all the way down to the wire, where Side Hustle, they made some key mistakes, and they just could not deal with the offense that attack mode was putting on. This one, it could be anyone's game, honestly, Bard, as we get into this
No
map.
idea.
Temple of Anubis. Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah, these teams are playing 5D chess, and I'm just here to call the moves at this point.
That's right.
This is incredible gameplay coming out from both. Attack mode pulling out the old tried and true 10D style Clockwork Vendetta comp, which it's a joy to watch, but not a joy to play against. And I think everyone on
It's pain to play
Side
against.
Hustle would agree.
Yeah, sheer pain is, I think, the feelings that Side Hustle were having, at least initially there. They did do a good job, though, of making some changes in order to put themselves in a good position. Right now, defensively, what we're seeing is a slight adjustment from the composition that they've had the most success with dealing with that Orisa composition. That is the double shield along with Eli on the Echo. The key here, though, Edison, who's had a great game or great couple of games as Hanzo, has not been going to be playing that one. He's going to be on to the Junkrat. And Junkrat, of course, as we know, Bard, very powerful on this map. Something that you do typically see very, very often. On the other side of things, though, the attackers, they're walking out in something a little bit more standard. Ryan Zarya, rather not Zarya, my apologies. Okay, never mind. It doesn't matter. It's going to be the Monkey with the Diva. It was Ryan Diva, now it's the Monkey Diva coming in with Tracer, and now a Sombra.
Ooh, I love Rush, and this is the most Rush comp that you're going to get right now. They just want to go in and not let Side Hustle set up this poke at all. This is going to be powerful. A good staging coming out here from attack mode. They're just making sure that they're set up, and Eli, he's doing the poke, and they wait for him to run out of shots before jumping in, and that's a lot of damage there. Crimson just trying to stay alive as I watch his health pool just dip into the hundreds at that point, but they've made this high ground, and they're set for this next fight.
Yeah, exactly. Getting in prime position, that's part of the key of setting up that dive. Now it's all on to Chime, I believe, getting something hacked up and creating an opportunity for these tanks to walk in. Could be Rocket as well, to be clear, in this backline.
Ooh, Rocket on the Tracer. It's where he made his name. But Chip on the Diva, once again, brutally taking out Fishcake early on here. Now Rocket, he can do whatever he wants. He's got the whole site to play with now as the poke is just set up on that high ground, and 2 ticks already taken for attack mode. Chip forces the immo and takes out himself, and the damage here is just too good. Eli trying to catch the Sombra, but the TP out of the sticky bombs, there's no way. Edison, no, he gets the kill with the death mines on a Crimson. That is unfortunate if you are the one on the Monkey there. Ship and Chime are going to trade back out, though, and it looks like attack mode have taken this first point pretty convincingly.
You don't see the Total Mayhem kill very often. Definitely something that is not quite going to be seen all that much. That being said, a great start right now for attack mode. 5 minutes on the clock left, and Chime has just now built up to the first of their EMPs. This could be it. I mean, you get a big EMP right here, you win that out. That's the point too already. But players playing very spread. They know it's coming, it looks like.
Yeah, and he's forced back out, and I think he just wants to wait. If I were him, at least, but I'm Diamond, so what am I to say? I would wait for the bomb here, but maybe not. They just walk right in. Chime forcing the immo early, taking the immo out. Eli gets the dupe, and Edison with a tire taking down Skyward. Rocket trading out on a fish cake as Maximus is going to take him down. You don't get your support for free there, and Edison and Milky Man are just going to clean this up.
To be fair, that is what happens when you just wait. Teams of this caliber are going to push onto you and get frags where you give them opportunities. So 2 ultimates invested, 2 kills found off the back of them. And, well, to be fair, more from that EMP, but whatever. Nonetheless, it is going to be some adjustments. Eli going onto the Torbjorn, something we have been seeing from the other side. Can it be as effective as Edison swaps over onto this McCree? There's 6 ultimates coming up online for attack mode.
Yeah, this is where you kind of just Q smash and take the second point 2CP. That's a valid strategy. It's used at every level. And at this level, it's going to be even more effective as they just walk right in here, pushing through. There's the EMP. The immortality is saved, though. He is able to dodge that. The flux being forced as the beat comes out for attack mode. There's the Diva Bomb. Catches nothing, but all of the additions to the point have been taken down. No immo, no bongo, no turret. The turret does go back up as they commit the window here from Orchid. A good halt, too, to keep them in this fight, and there's just no picks on either side. Both teams really just poking this out until they can find a confirmed pick, and it might just be Maximus here, forced back. Orchid playing very safe to keep him up, but Orchid also playing aggressively there, does demech ship, and it doesn't look like attack mode are going to be able to push into this point at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's just terrible, right? I mean, it's 6 ultimates invested, and then you have nothing left. So that being said, it is a terrible dive point. This point number 2 on Temple of Anubis, not something that you typically see dive working at, and so it's going to be another additional swap. It's going to be back to that tried and true composition that we've been seeing all evening long, Bard. Well, easy does it. Chime back onto the May with a rocket on the Torb.
Yeah, Clockwork Vendetta, and they are coming back with a Vendetta after that last fight. They're pushing in here. The Maywall used to just save them as they push in. The Immo used too, and maybe a little too eager to push in on that first fight.
Well, I mean, I think they saw that Fishcake used the Brigida ultimate, the rally, and they were like, yeah, no thank you. I don't want any part of that. And so they just canceled. I think that's a valid strategy, right? It makes sense, and it's just you're still going to get some value out of the Brigida, but it's just the armor you have. It's not going to be consistent.
Oh, that's such a good flux from Maximus. The Immo's already forced, and Eli can use that Torb ultimate. That's just damage raining down as the windows are also contesting each other on the point. Chime stays alive for longer than I expected there, but does go down. Already built 90% of his ult, though. Eli and Edison are going to clean this up, and attack mode, still no luck.
No luck at all, and this is very intelligent ult usage, by the way. Side hustle, you just being careful not to use too much. They want to fight just with the rally, then Fishcake swapped off onto the Lucio, and now they want to fight with just the Gravitic Flux and the Molten Core. So now you still have 2 ults online and a couple more coming up as Eli swapped onto the Junkrat, something that, like I said before, something you see quite often here.
Yeah, for sure. Very good on Anubis. And I don't know about you, but I'm watching Chime coming up here on that Blizzard. He's gotten so much value all game on it, and he's just going to commit it here. He's just going to commit it here. He gets it out, goes straight into the ice block. Immo already used. Edison goes down. Milky Man taking a ton of damage as Chime takes him down too. Eli gets the trade, but might not be enough as Maximus has to try and get in here. The beat does come out. Oh, the beat comes out from Fishcake, but he's immediately taken out in attack mode. That's all it took. They've taken the second point in a 30-second attack.
It was a matter of time. It was just about getting those ultimates online once they made the full compositional swap. Honestly, I could have made an argument that attack mode took a little bit too long to make those adjustments, but it certainly was effective. Once they swapped, they knew what they were doing, and they did exactly what was necessary. Particularly, I mean, you called it yourself, Bard. Watching Chime, perfect. The reason is that that Mail, the Blizzard, it split the entire defense. They couldn't, some players had to push forward. Some players had to go backward. They couldn't go the same direction. It was just too much chaos going through. And so we saw that was the take off the back of that. Once you get split in that composition, it's all over. you don't have any real chance of getting it back together. And that's exactly what happened. Side hustle fall, but it's a very solid defensive hold. Just 2 points and 44 seconds remaining is now Side Hustle look to get onto their own attack. For this attack mode side, though, it is going to be a solid same composition. To be fair, why would you change it? It's been very effective defensively.
Yeah, and again, a great defense from Side Hustle, especially with how fast attack mode took that first point. I think they had almost 6 minutes on the clock to take point 2, and now they have less than a minute when they capped. So just really well done from them.
Yeah, exactly. Attack side, though, they're looking to... Okay, so they knew. They found out. They were like, oh, they're doing that again? We are going to go to the tried and true counter. The same type of composition with the... I think it did, actually. Good shout.
My God.
That's incredible. But it's just going to the tried and true method of trying to dislodge attack mode with this composition.
Baxibus, relax, dude. We get it. Your Sigma's cracked. He rocked out a spawn. I think he took down Ship. That's incredible. The Maywall there is going to slow the fight down just a little bit from Chime. The Immortality already being forced here from Side Hustle as attack mode are just going to back up into that Mega Room. And Side Hustle, they want to take control of that high ground, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Ship! He chases down Eli, and it's supposed to be the DPS killing the tanks, not vice versa, but Ship doesn't care. He is a mad lad as Rocket takes down Edison. And Side Hustle, they're going to have to reconsider this fight.
They do, and you know, this is a good composition. I talked about before why it's good at countering out what the attack mode side are running, but the problem is that you don't really, it is a little bit less effective on this map in particular because of the geometry. You have so many opportunities to just go away. You just don't peek, and they aren't able to do anything. Right? You have to force them to close the distance, and well, the problem is this composition wants to play at long range.
Yeah, and they've got the poke here. They've got the ults. They're gonna force the dragon in. They want to force Ship. What? What is that? That's through the wall. Ship eats that dragon. Ship, give me a chance to let them do anything.
Just blowing my mind at this point. The Ship, like how big brain do you have to be, Bard, to just think, oh, there's gonna be a Hanzo ulting through a wall right here.
They don't have anything to show him either. There's no Sonic Arrow. There's no Widow Sights. He just did it.
Oh,
that's nuts. Anyway, attack mode. They've backed up to point. They're setting up in this corner. There's the Flux. Here's how they're gonna engage without the dragon, but the beat is there from Neptune and the Immortality field. It looks like the only thing that they're going to be able to take out here is going to be that turret. They're forced to commit the dupe bomb, but it's in the corner. It catches Skyward. Skyward, that is unfortunate. You should not be in that position. Ship also gets taken out of mech, and there's another Diva Bomb being committed. It gets Ship too. That's 3 picks with the Diva Bomb if you count the mech, and that's a turnaround if I've ever seen one for Side Hustle.
Definitely is, but look at the commitment, right? You had to commit pretty much everything off the back of it. And on top of that, it is a significantly worse push on the first point than we saw from the attack mode side on their attack. So about a minute or so less for this second point for Side Hustle to pick up, as they now have to figure out what to do against this composition on this second point. That is, I think, a particularly difficult thing to figure out if you are Side Hustle.
Yeah, this is going to be a tricky one for sure. They do have another dragon. Going to be harder for Ship to eat it this time, I think. But Edison doesn't even need it. Takes down Neptune with a quick dink onto Edison. Not on Edison, sorry, onto Rocket too. That's going to be a tricky one. And Maximus forcing the turret out. And here comes the Flux. You know what's about to happen. And he puts it in there. Forces the ice block out. This is really well done as Edison takes down Crimson. The Immortality is forced on the backline by Ship. And they haven't touched the point yet. Chime commits that Blizzard there just to try and take out Milky Man. They do get him, but they trade both DPS. Rocket trading onto that Tracer just to try and contest the objective point. Neptune is going to take down Milky Man on the back of that Blizzard, but Edison is just cleaning up this whole fight, and I don't think... Oh, they are going to be able to come back. Attack mode. They've staggered this out just enough that they're able to come back here. Eli takes down Chime, who's come back on the Doomfist, but Neptune had another beat as they engage here, and Rocket in the backline is going to take out Orchid. This is probably lost now for Side Hustle. Unless this dupe is big, they do get Ship at a point, but Rocket gets a second one. Eli is going to take down Crimson. He can use the bomb here as Skyward takes down Edison. Milky Man came back on the ball, and the Chime, he goes down to the bomb from Eli as Milky Man takes down Ship. How is this fight still going? Side Hustle should have lost this twice already. Skyward gonna take down Eli, and that should do it. I'm confident this time.
Yeah, I mean, that is a forever fight if I've ever seen one, and some desperation swaps going to be swapped back for the attack mode side as they go back to not the tried and true, but a little bit of an adjustment from that, the Reinhardt plus the Diva, something we have seen a lot of, but not necessarily all of, as Rocket goes back to the McCree. So this has now been a lot of changes, both sides essentially using all of their ultimates. The only one really available for the Side Hustle side is Orchid, and Maximus coming up on a Gravitic Flux. So honestly, if this Gravitic Flux can find something big, then they can win this out. The problem is that Ship has another self-destruct, right? And self-destructs, normally you won't care about, but these have been big.
Oh yeah, if there's anyone who's been getting consistent value out of self-destructs, I'd say during this whole OD, it's Ship. And there it is, the MOUs, the bomb comes out. It does force, no, sorry, it doesn't force the beat. That's coming from Neptune. And Rocket and Chime are going to trade out Maximus and Eli. I thought the beat had come out to contest that bomb, but no. Edison does trade out Neptune, but I don't think Side Hustle are going to walk back in on this quite yet.
No, I mean, it would have been a good opportunity if they had a couple more players, right? But they just did not. And so it's kind of back to the drawing board. You have to swap over. Maximus now on the Diva. This has been basically the off-tank swappage all over the place, this map, especially is now just solely going to be in a position where it's very difficult to deal with Ship and Crimson.
Yeah, and there's the MO forced. There's the wall to cut them off, and Maximus already out of mech and dead. Edison is just going to get cleaned up as Rocket. He's just running rampant. Finally shut down by Eli, but that fight, that's non-existent.
And this is the problem, right? We saw the attack mode. They had to do, you know, what is often looked down upon, but like you were saying, a fair strategy. Just build 6 ultimates and use them all at once. Even then, they barely won. This time, though, they haven't done that. The Side Hustle, they've not even done that. And now they're in a tough spot with 20 seconds left and no ultimates online.
Yeah, and Chime here with this Blizzard. I mean, gonna be hard to stay up in this one, I think. He's looking for the wall, uses it early, and then Blizzard's the main choke when they turn around, but Maximus, his turn, he's hungry. He hasn't had enough to eat tonight. He takes out Chime's Blizzard. Chime gets the freeze as revenge, but I don't think he's gonna stay up in this fight as he gets taken down. And now Eli and Maximus with a double kill, Edison taking out Rocket, and now the charge coming in, I don't think it's needed, but the counter charge from Crimson gonna do some damage. The beat now committed from Fishcake. Neptune coming out, he needs to build a beat of his own, but Edison's going to take him down. Ship is able to touch. They might be able to pull off another miracle contest here, but I just don't think it's going to be possible for attack mode. Rocket gets back on the point on that Tracer. He's going to stay on it for as long as he can, but he's taken down by Orchid, and they do manage to cap, so we are going to extra points.
And all off the back of that one mistake. I've saved for the 3rd time in a row, map in a row. I mean, that's what it is. It's just small errors that really create opportunities for these teams of this caliber to pick things up. And with all of that said, it was Chime, you know, the player we were watching got caught out. And unfortunately, I mean, it was a good idea, right? And honestly, it was really lucky that Maximus ate that Blizzard. We watched it ourselves, and let's just say I don't think there's any way Maximus knew that was coming. It just was. It just happened that, you know, it was trying to eat some general damage, and hey, look, there's an ultimate. Give me that. So
good positioning then.
Exactly. I mean, it is good positioning. Like it's not as if they didn't do anything, but it certainly was a little bit lucky. I don't think it is unreasonable to say. But coming back in now, what do? About 44 seconds is the time difference between Side Hustle and attack mode. Attack mode with the majority of that time. So just a minute to push on the offense. What do you have to try and do? I think the answer is, well, I was going to say just counter out this comp that we've been seeing from attack mode, but remember what happened last time? That wasn't very good. in this area because of the fact that you can just not peek.
Oh, absolutely. And this is going to be tricky here for Side Hustle. They're going to put that poke in, the halt there. They can do the damage. Crimson taking some damage as well, as the poke really just exists. Eli and Edison really just need to build some ults here, build up that damage, find a pick for their team to engage on. And they're going to stage on this left side. I like this. They're going to push the choke. Edison can get that poke as well. But you still have to engage against the Mei and the Torbjorn.
Yeah, I mean, there's no good area to engage in, and Eli does a good job of just destroying that hold before it really even gets started.
Yeah, absolutely. Good poke there coming out from him. Now Edison, he's looking for a pick. Skyward, stop building blizzards in less than stop building windows in less than a minute. This is the 4th map in a row that you've done this. We've had this conversation, and there's Crimson taking out Milky Man. The Immo also forced Eli. He built the dupe just as fast as the window, but it's not going to help him here, as he does get taken out of the dupe mech already. And now Edison, he finds Skyward, but he is alone as Ship takes him down. Eli trades down into Crimson, but now it's just Maximus against a Mei, and you are not going to be happy in that situation as the Sigma Orchid not to be able to touch, and there is no cap here for Side Hustle.
Well, you know, I said it before, Bard, that this just wasn't effective, and I think we saw the same reasoning there. Yes, once you get your ultimates online, you can break the chokes, but in a dry fight scenario, the attack mode just have too strong of rotations. They are not going to make those easy mistakes that allow you to get picks, that allow you to get a push, that allow you to close the distance. You know, none of those things are going to happen with a team as good as attack mode is. And so Side Hustle, they just fell flat. Keeping it real, they just needed to maybe try something else. But that being said, it was still a pretty solid hold, at least for about 2 minutes on the defensive side for Side Hustle. They definitely could have done better, but it was not terrible by any means. We are seeing an adjustment here for the defense, though, as it's going to be Edison going on to a Ashe. First Ashe we've seen the entirety of this series, actually, which is a little surprising to say, but you know, Ashe is nowhere near as good as she once was. But to help that out, Fishcake has gone on to a Mercy. That definitely could be an opener. And listen, sometimes if you just shoot him in the face, it's not a problem, right? It could be,
just click on their head, forehead.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real strategy. So it's back to the same composition, though, defensively, or rather on the attack mode side. They are going for this dive that worked very well for them on their attack.
Oh, yeah, they're going for this rush. It worked really well. They got the stage really early on. And they're already... I don't know if they misread who was on Sombrix. They're already spy checking. There's a good trap there. It's not going to get the pick, but it is going to get the damage. As they rotate around to this high ground attack mode, they've taken the position that they want already.
Well, and Chime on the Sombra actually is just an extra win condition. You know, eventually if you get an EMP up, granted you're going to have to start building it quick. It's just a minute left. You know, that's basically an easy fight win.
Ooh, that's a good early hack on a Maximus too. Eli getting dropped low as Rocket pushes in. That Sigma has to be very careful here. Edison, though, with a good pick onto Rocket. And now this is suddenly looking winnable for Side Hustle. But the trade back, Milky Man taking down Crimson with a double kill. The man can't be stopped on the monkey until Maximus shuts him down there with the pick. And the res is available. But that's the hack. That's so good. And now Orchid, he has to focus on keeping Fishcake up. But it's not going to help. Ship takes him down. And there it is. They can't touch the point. Attack mode win 3-1.
Man, what a close matchup this was. 3-1, but geez, I don't think that really communicates how close of a match this was, particularly over towards Havana. You know, that was so strong from the Side Hustle side, but they just could not pull off anything else. And it was the slimmest of margins. Every single map coming down to what I consider it to be basically one or two key mistakes from either side who lost. And this time it was just attack mode making a couple less. And actually, to be fair, there wasn't a huge mistake from Side Hustle right there. They just weren't able to get on. They just weren't able to get enough time. They just didn't have the right composition. Their strategy was a little bit flawed to try and deal with what the attack mode were dealing at them. So nonetheless, a solid matchup. Side Hustle out, unfortunately, of this open division. But listen, I think they can be happy with the way they played. They played incredibly, and we talked about at the beginning how this team has a large amount of really good players on it. It's obvious the reason why they performed as such here, but attack mode just too high amount to climb.
Yeah, attack mode, really good team. They've just been steadily improving with this roster over time, and really not surprising to see them go this far in OD. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can pull out in the next few matches as well. I hope to see them tomorrow in more of our streamed games. Just absolutely wonderful gameplay from both sides as well. Side Hustle, they I think are a bit of a newer team, and they're going to pull this together, I think, and be very solid going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. There's no question in my mind about it, and I do want to talk really fast though. If we were to pick an MVP out in this game, as tough as that is, who are you thinking? Because I have a couple players in my mind, but I want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, it's Ship.
Okay, so no
I
contest on that one.
I mean,
Yeah, you start thinking about it, and it gets harder, doesn't it?
a little bit, a little bit. I think I'm gonna go with Ship or Skyward, or this one might be or Edison. I think Edison's my other one. I think I'm going Ship, Skyward, or Edison, but I think Ship takes it with the double alt eat map one.
Oh
Absolutely incredible.
yeah.
He ate the dragon through the wall. His bombs were on point. He was just always there for his team when they needed him. He was basically a third DPS and a tank. So, I mean, for me, I'm sticking with Ship, but honorable mention to Skyward and
I,
to and
Edison, yeah,
Edison.
yeah. I think that my first thought is Ship as well, but then I start thinking, and I'm like, well, I mean, I feel like Skyward definitely is in that conversation. I also think that Chime is in that conversation. At the very least, had an incredible play on the May.
Mm-hmm.
You can't forget that map
True, true.
one was basically won off the back of just great May walls from Chime, as well as King's Row. Let's not forget there was a couple
Yeah.
of times there that was just key May walls coming back and forth. So you can't just say no to Chime. But yeah, I think Ship, that doubly has to be. I mean, that's just got to be one of the best plays I've ever seen in the entirety of Overwatch. I mean, just double eat, two ultimates, and you're at a huge disadvantage, right? Like you were coming in disadvantaged,
Yeah.
and Ship just pulls out that. Yeah, it's got to be Ship. I think we're in
Yeah.
agreement. But yeah, definitely everybody playing very well for both sides, and I truly mean that. I mean, there's sometimes that you might hear a caster just say that. No, this time it's true. It's absolutely real. And commiserations to Side Hustle, but attack mode, man, I'm excited to see where they go.
Yeah, can't wait to see more of them. That is going to be all for tonight from us on Reflash OW. There will be more games tomorrow on Reflash Prod. I have been Bard on Play by Play. You can find me on Twitter at maybe Bard, and I've been joined by Vincent. You can find him on Twitter at VincentCasts. Thank you guys for coming out. It's been a pleasure to cast for you guys. Remember to be good people.